We're live. Are we live? Are we live? We're doing it?
We
Are we
are
doing
live.
it? Live, live,
I
live.
feel so alive.
Hello,
Hello?
hello, what's up, bro?
Hey, it's the What's Up Bro podcast. We talk movies, sports, TV shows, pop culture, and it's funny, motherfuckers. With nary signs.
I'm like, what? How can this... They have Photoshop. Photoshop exists when this artist rendition was done. How the fuck is this not cooler looking than a sketch that looks like it was done by a hillbilly off the side of the road? What the fuck are we talking? Why is this a thing?
So you're telling me there's a chance?
With Missy
Just let me finish my thought before you fucking interrupt me. Wrong room to ask questions.
Welcome to the party, pal.
and Mike Markadal.
I'm just glad I like vanilla, boring sex like this. I'm glad that the sex I enjoy won't get me killed.
That's how winning is done.
Hey, I'm Dave Chappelle, and this is What's Up, Bro.
All right. And we're live and recording, depending on how you're hearing this. Welcome to the What's Up Bro podcast, ninth annual top 10.
Ninth.
Top 10 movies of the year episode. I am Nary Science. With me, as usual, is Mike Mercadal.
What's up, bro?
And joining us again today is our favorite Stein, Alexander Stein.
Our favorite sign sounds like a 50s sitcom.
No, like fuck you, R.L. Stein. I'm the favorite now.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. I never met
Battle
him,
lines have
so
been drawn.
I never met him, so he's not my favorite.
I used to tell people he was my uncle.
Did they believe you?
Yeah.
Fuck it's people. People are dumb. But even though like that's not right, he has to have nephews, right? he's not like he's a
I don't
human.
know.
Just because you wrote
Sure.
books, it doesn't mean that he can't have children. And right.
When you're
anyways,
that rich,
so-
you can have anything.
have anything you want.
That guy's got to be
you know what?
rich from his books.
A lot of people don't know he actually didn't get a lot of money. He got screwed by his publishers. That's also not true, but nobody's gonna look it up. And we can just say whatever the fuck we want, right?
Deceiver.
Like,
Could be true.
Could be
it
true.
could be. Hey, Stein could be his nephew. We don't fucking know. It could be true, man.
We have just as much proof that R.L. Stein got fucked in a contract as we do that Stein is R.L. Stein's nephew.
Correct.
We have just as much proof.
Yep.
Equal. All right. So this is our yearly episode. 10 years ago, Mike and I started this podcast.
Mhm.
And then a year into it, we decided, hey, let's do a top 10 movies of the previous year. And I believe, if I'm not correct, one, we both love movies, but I believe the reason we started that episode was because we were like, we got nothing to talk about this week.
There was a point where we would just, honestly, we would just hang out and talk. And that was kind of the show, which is like precursor to the white guys with microphones meme that's happening now, where we were just like talking shit. Like, again, we were talking about a pre-roll where we were just having a good time and talking shit. And we do this for the fun of it, And then at a certain point, we were just like, all right, we have exhausted every backstory thing we have. What do we talk about? And it was like an old married couple that's like looking across the coffee table from each other, like, I know everything you're gonna fucking say right now, and then we need other stuff to talk about.
Yeah. So and then I remember that the Oscar nominations had just come out, and we're like, let's talk about the Oscars and what was your favorite movies, and that's how it evolved. Anyway, so this is our top 10 episode of top 10 movies of the year episode, and we're gonna go around the horn. If somebody picks a movie that you already have, kind of a Geek Morse rules, if somebody picks a movie you already have, just say table it and we'll move on, and we're going to go on. Let's start off with our number 10. We don't have sound effects because I'm not gonna make 10 sound effects. Go fuck you guys.
Number 10, Diaz.
Number 10. Wait, let me write this down. I gotta write this down. Go ahead.
Sure.
Number 10, Mike.
Well, I will. We should probably preface this by saying, literally, all the movies I watched last year are on the like I had to have watched the movie, but because it wasn't all in theaters, and a lot of these movies that came out last year were like Netflix movies and things like that, so it's like it was hard to make a list.
Why? But a Netflix movie is still a movie.
It counts, right? Like that was the thing. And I
Yeah.
saw some of these movies I saw in a airplane also.
I gotta be honest with you. My only rule for myself is like, was it released in 2021? Can it be nominated for an Oscar? Like that's all. That was my my rules. Is like, that's it.
Well, mine is very like biased towards like my tastes and interests. It's a very selfish top 10 list.
Yeah,
that's what it is. It's your list.
Because it's your list. Yeah.
Right. I am going to put at my number 10. I had some that I liked, but they're arguably like I'm not gonna watch them again. But I might watch all of my top 10 again. So that's basically, if you want to look at it that way. Number 10 is The King's Man. The King's Man. Table.
I started watching that today before recording, and then I was like, I really need to take a shower before like we jump on this podcast. So I got like halfway through it. So yeah, I like the half I've seen.
We'll jump into it when it shows up on Neri's list, apparently. What about you, Stein? What's your number 10?
Coming in at number 10, Tick, Tick, Boom.
Still haven't seen it.
I want to see that one, actually, though.
Yeah, Andrew Garfield is like...
But it's just the title really throws me off because I hate TikTok.
It has nothing to do with TikTok.
I know.
It's such an
TikTok
old man. Yeah. You know what it's about, Neri?
Yeah. It's the guy who wrote the play that Lease was based off of. So yeah, I know exactly what. I actually want to see this movie. I legitimately want to see this movie, and I did so prior to Andrew Garfield being nominated for all these awards. I'm not trying to be that guy, but I did want to see it before, all the attention that he's gotten for this role. So.
Yeah, he's amazing. And the thing is that before this movie, like he didn't even know that he could like sing. And Lin-Manuel Miranda like heard him sing and he was like, "Oh, thank God I don't have to recast you."
He's so in the movie, is it a musical or is it like
Yes. And it has
totally
music from the play.
So it is him singing like what I'm saying is that it is him bursting into song talking about his life, right? Like
no, it's more of the way he wrote the songs that will later be in the play. So he's like, "Hey, I'm writing the song. What do you think?" And it's like, "Well, what song?" And then he starts playing the song.
I get it. Okay. Yeah. Like okay. So the guy knows he's singing a song. It's like in musicals where they're just narratively singing.
Yeah, you know how like musicals are when people just start singing about stuff.
No, but like, is Pitch Perfect a musical?
Yes, there's music in it. I consider Pitch Perfect a musical,
but it's not like they're singing songs. Then they know like it's whatever. You get it. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's worked into the narrative. It's not like I have to express my emotions through song. Like that's exactly.
I hope years, I get it. 1,000 years ago, I wanted to write a bit, and I wrote a bit, but I just never had the balls to do it because I can't sing, and two, I just don't have the confidence. Is to talk about musicals, how they're like, I just met this girl named Maria, and then burst out into the actual fucking song from West Side Story, which by the way is my favorite musical. And then that guy goes, "So you were saying that you met a girl named Maria?" And you're like, yeah, that was 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
What the fuck was that, Neri? What's going on? Jesus
we just
Christ.
watch you sing for 5 minutes.
Yeah, we just watch you sing for 5. Like, what's going on? Like, we're at work.
I had that idea for Glee. Like, I wanted to do a show about the other kids at that school going, Jesus fucking Christ, with the singing.
That'd be a good skit for a fucking TikTok or something. I mean, like, walking by when they're in the background singing, and you're just walking by, like, I'm just trying to get to my locker. I just want to. I'm gonna
or
be
the
late,
musician kids who just happen to know every song they're about to sing, and they're like, "Hi, I'm here eating my and they grab their guitar or whatever. The drums pull out of nowhere and they start playing. It's like that's more interesting to me than these other fuckheads. Like, show me those kids who are just ready to go at the top of the hat.
Stein, Tick Tick Boom. Go ahead.
Tick Tick Boom, number 10.
All right, Tick Tick Boom. My number 10. I got to be honest with you. I have a hard time putting this on the list only because it was one of those weird releases where it technically got released in 2021, but it, for the most part, most people will have seen it in January 2022. So it was a weird thing. But it was the movie Sing 2, which is also a musical.
Haven't seen it, but God, I loved Sing 1 so much. I thought it was so
Sing
good.
1 was great, but Sing 2 is it's so good. Like it's one of those. It really. So the movie's great. It's fantastic. The music is awesome. And I'm just like, I immediately when I watched it, I was like, oh, going in my top 2022 list. And then I had looked it up, and they're like, no, it came out. Technically, it came out like in a festival in November, and then it came out in the theaters, be it limited release in December, and then VOD in January 2022, and that's where I saw it.
That's how the Kingsman was.
No, the Kingsman was out.
No, wrong.
Yeah, no,
is the shy elephant girl in it again? Because I loved her. She was my favorite.
Yes, she was in it, and there's a guy that she has a crush on some guy. It's hilarious. Of course, it's
is it another elephant, or is it one of those weird like
interracial relationships?
Yeah, it has to be another elephant. You can't
interspecies relationships. Like
elephant. In all fairness, she's an African elephant, and she's into an Asian elephant. So I mean, there is that. So, but
that's cool.
No, it's a joke. I don't fucking know. It's a cartoon. Come on, man.
I don't fucking know, man. That's a like woke animation.
His ears are smaller. If you notice, his ears are smaller and they cock back. And then if you notice the eye, no, I don't fucking know. So number 10s, we have Kingsman, Tick Tick Boom, and Sing 2. Number 9.
My number 9 is not a great movie, but I loved it, and it's Gunpowder Milkshake.
Oh, I did have a lot of that. Was a good fun movie.
Dude. Wasn't that a fun fucking movie? I watched it on an airplane, and then I watched it again when I got home because I was like, I need to see this on a bigger screen, and it was, for the lack of a better word, a great time. Like it was great.
Fun.
Like it was just fun. Super fun.
Yeah.
Karen Gillan and Hedy. What's her name? The girl
Michelle
from
Yeoh.
Michelle Yeoh. Everyone in that movie comes out. Carla Gugino. I am such a Carla Gugino fan. She awesome. Is like this. I think she's underrated as hell. She's beautiful. She's been beautiful forever, and she's a great actress. And she's in these like interesting movies.
She's been opposite The Rock multiple movies, so I'm really jealous of her.
Is Vivica A. Fox? Is that the other lady that's in it?
No, I don't remember who else is in it. I think it's
Angela Bassett. Yeah.
But Angela Bassett's also a beautiful older woman. The movie itself is just like a genuine John Wick good level action sequences. And I don't think it got a lot of attention. Like I don't remember hearing about it. I saw the trailers and then I saw it on the airplane and I was like, fuck, this is great. And I hate to be the guy who says, oh well, it's misogyny or whatever, but it's not like Charlie's Angels where like people were like, Charlie's Angels was supposed to be this great feminist movie and it's trash, the Elizabeth Banks one. And this is
that one.
Yeah,
they're all trash. You didn't have to clarify which one. They were all trash.
but the most recent
one, like the other one. It's not like the Cameron Diaz ones got nominated for Oscars. Oh, and then here comes fucking Elizabeth Banks fucking up the franchise. No, she really didn't fuck it up. It was all trash straight through. So it's fine.
Yeah, but it was genuinely like fun. At a certain point, I was just on that ride, and it was great. It was really well done, really stylish, really really fun. It was good.
Yeah. 2021 was like also kind of a year of just like kick-ass like female-driven movies. Like there was one with Mary Elizabeth Winstead where she's like going through fighting Yakuza. There was another one with Kate Beckinsale. I think it was called Jolt, where she's like it was like a good year for just like kick-ass female action movies.
355. I just saw 355, even though technically I think no, that came out last year. 355 is now on Paramount Plus. It's it came out in theaters last year, but it's all women, and they all.
I heard it's good. I heard that's good too.
It's a lot of fun. 355. Yeah. It's literally the numbers 355. So.
Yeah. So Gunpowder Milkshake. That's my 9.
All right.
Fuck yeah.
Stein, what do you got for number 9?
Number 9 is Shang-Chi.
Ooh, table.
There it is. Had a feeling.
Yeah. I mean, I am of the two of us, I am the Marvel fanboy apologist. So I will always rank Marvel, I think, a little higher than Neri will.
Oh, the movie with Mary Elizabeth Winstead I was thinking about was just called Kate. That's why it was hard for Kate.
I love
yeah.
her too.
Check
She's
it out.
great
They're
too. A
fucking
lot
rad.
of great. Yeah. A lot of
Right.
good ass kickery.
My number 9 is The Harder They Fall.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Dude.
With the Black Cowboys.
Yeah.
With Idris
Oh,
Elba.
just Cowboys.
that movie was
Or just Cowboys.
badass, dude.
The fact that they were black is
I
part
know.
of the story.
I know, it's a joke. Yes. The Harder They Fall with Idris Elba. And first of all, love this movie. I'm a fan of Westerns, which I didn't know about myself until a couple of years ago when I started watching Westerns to research for an episode of Best Westerns on Geekmore. And then I was like, holy shit, I think I am a fan of Westerns, just not cheesy fucking dumb ones. But this was really well done. The ending was fantastic. Everything, the story was great. Mike, what you're gonna fall in love with, aside from everything else, because everything else is great, but what you're gonna like particularly love is the music. The soundtrack to this is holy shit
Really?
good. Like just it I don't want to say it takes you out of the movie, but it specifically you watching this going like, man, this song is amazing. This is like really well, like the music that they're choosing for this scene is so well fucking picked out. Like, wow, it's really fucking good. It's Guardians of the Galaxy level of like when you think of a song, like Guardians of the Galaxy is one of those movies where I didn't necessarily know the songs, but now that I saw it in this movie, I can't picture any other song to this scene.
Right.
And that's how this movie is. The Harder They Fall. And it's like, oh, I hear the song, I'm picturing that scene in this movie. It's like it's perfectly picked for this scene. It's
one of my future picks will have that come up as well.
Yeah.
And also like even like Baby Driver-esque in that fight versus Regina King and Zazie Beetz. Like it actually goes to the music, like they're fighting like on the beat. Yeah, exactly.
I love that. I love that.
It's gorgeous because they're like in this this town and they're fighting in like a textile shop. So where they're like dyeing all of these different colored like swaths of fabric. So they're like weaving in and out of just it's really colorful and beautiful, and just talk about more like badass ladies fighting. Like fuck
that
yeah, dude, you gotta check it. It's really
The Harder They Fall.
The Harder They Fall. It's such a, and the only reason it didn't make it on my list higher, it's not because it's not a knock on this movie. It's just the other movies. You know what I mean? I enjoy.
Yeah.
It's so fucking good. The Harder They Fall. I thought it's chef's kiss.
Good call.
Yeah.
The number 9s are Gunpowder Milkshake for the ladies, Shang-Chi, and The Harder They Fall. Number 8.
The Ocho is Godzilla versus Kong.
You put it on your list. Dude.
Godzilla versus Kong was so much fun. I love giant things fighting, as I am also a giant thing. And I loved it. When they give Godzilla a magical axe, fuck yes. I was so on board. Made from the scales of one of the gods.
They gave Kong a magical axe. It wasn't Godzilla. They gave Kong a magical axe.
Did I say Godzilla or Kong?
Yeah, you said Godzilla.
You know, you might have said Godzilla,
Kong.
but I heard Kong because I know what you meant.
When they gave Kong the fucking axe made from the scales of a Godzilla or whatever, because I was like late to this series, right? Like I watched Kong, and then I hadn't watched the original Godzilla with Bryan Cranston because everybody said it was super fucking slow and you never actually see Godzilla. I was like, I don't want to see that.
That's not true.
But that's what people at the time, that was one of the big complaints. And then King of Monsters, whatever, the one where they one I hadn't seen. And then I was like, fuck it, I'll just watch this movie. And the whole time I was like, this is amazing.
Wait, so you watched Godzilla? You watched Godzilla versus Kong without watching the other Godzilla movies?
I did, and I saw it in the theater, and then because I was like, oh right, let me go see it. And then I went back and I watched the other one, but not the whole thing. Like I watched like the recap of the thing, like
sure.
Because
did you see Kong Skull Island?
Yes, that one I did see. With John C. Reilly being a weirdo, I loved it.
Yeah,
but I just like those movies. I really wanted to like the Peter Jackson King Kong movie. I really wanted to like that one, and I loved the Kong stuff when you finally show. There's a whole song by a band called Tripod. It's an Australian comedy band, and they have a song called "Get to the Fucking Monkey," and it's literally about where it's like, yeah, I love Jack Black. Adrian Brody is great. Get to the fucking monkey. It's like, yeah, Andy Serkis is great. Yes, right. Get to the fucking monkey, and then it's like all about other movies that could benefit from getting to the fucking monkey. So that has become a thing I say with like a couple friends of mine that know that thing, where it's like, did it get to the monkey? And that's what I want. And this movie I skipped all the bullshit. I'm just like, yes, fucking fight on a boat. All of that shit was great. I love
the visual spectacle of it was cool. I hated the fact that they gave Kong an axe. I'm like, oh, what a fucking pussy! What a pussy ass
to use tools.
Pussy ass bitch.
It mimics primate evolution.
Yeah, whatever. And then the thing is, I've been such a fan of all the other movies leading up to this that this one was like, oh,
I loved it.
Yeah, you sold out for the fucking popcorn tickets and shit. Like,
yeah. It's funny, like being such a Marvel stan, going back and watching the first Godzilla movie, because you see Aaron Taylor Johnson and Elizabeth Olsen as husband and wife in that movie, and then later they're brother and sister in the MCU. It's like, okay, cool. They got to act together in two different ways.
Also, I will say this movie is on my list because of the nature of the world in this year, where there's a pandemic going on, work was great, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I want to go see a giant monkey fight a giant dragon lizard, and I don't want to
throw a fucking mech in there.
Yes, give me fucking mecha. When they unveiled mecha, I let out an audible cheer, and I'm like, yes. Fuck
they needed to have a common enemy. I saw it coming from a mile away. I was like, they can't just fight each other. They've got to team up against a common enemy at the very end.
I was so happy. As bullshit as it was, I was like, feed me bullshit, yes.
Yeah.
As bullshit as it was. As if anybody's like, no, this could really happen. This
you
know where the movie lost me? Is the fucking interportal fucking traveling, the fucking spaceship. I was like, oh, fuck off. I get it.
Right.
There's a fucking giant monkey and a fucking giant lizard. Don't give me this spaceship bullshit. Like, get the fuck out. Magnets, oh, fuck off. I was just so like fucking done with. I'm like, oh, fuck you.
I hate
like the other movies. The other movies in the series, even though they fucking toyed with the interdimensional wormholes or whatever the fuck, they were like somewhat grounded in what was believable. Again, it's not believable.
Don't try to explain it. Don't explain. Just don't do it.
That's what I'm saying.
Just throw quantum in front of it and you're good to go. You know, like
no, that's exactly what I'm saying. The other movies didn't try to explain it. They were like, it's fucking cool. And then this movie is like, we got spaceships. I'm like, oh, fuck you, Jeff Bezos. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, this is bullshit.
Magnetic levitation. Shut the fuck
up.
Shut
the fuck up,
Elon.
It would have been so much cooler if they would have been like, all you got to do is go through this fucking and then oh shit, I'm here. Like, just give me that. I don't need spaceships.
I did love the visual of the other dimension, that other world where there's like land on the top and the bottom. Right. Because it is such a foreign idea. I don't even know how you would envision that as a real human. You know how like when you
it's called mushrooms.
Huh?
It's called mushrooms.
Sure.
That's how you envision it. It's called mushrooms. You take mushrooms and you go, oh, you know what we do? We fucking put land on the top and the bottom. And people are like, oh, write this shit down. This guy's fucking going. This guy's ham.
This guy's killing it right now.
Sky underground, man.
Let's do it. Yeah, but that's my number 8.
He's killing it. Let him go. Let him go. Fucking. All right, Stein. What's your number 9? What's your number 8?
Yeah. I love this one because it's just a big fuck you to Warner Brothers. Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Hey, old.
Yeah. All right.
All right. It's hilarious. Number 8. Get out of here with this. Really? Doesn't make it.
I mean, yeah.
I'm like higher up on your guys' list than mine.
I mean, it would be. Yeah, it absolutely should be.
I don't think it could get higher. I think it could get higher. No, my number 8. This movie surprised the fuck out of me. I didn't want to see it. I had no intention of seeing it. Even in the previews, I was like, I don't. Why? There's no need for this movie. Like, I was one of those. Shocked the fuck out of me. I saw it. Immediately was like, oh my god, I've been so wrong about this movie. I apologize. And it stayed with me, and I fucking literally went to sleep thinking about the movie because of the performances, of the writing, of the acting. It was so well done all the way across. And I love this fucking movie. This movie is Cruella.
Cruella.
I had zero intentions of seeing this movie. I was like, we don't need this movie. Like, who's gonna side with a fucking somebody who wants to kill dogs? Get the fuck out! I don't need to see this origin story.
Yeah,
I was wrong.
The Dalmatians killed her mom.
Yeah. Well,
is that really the story?
Mike? You just ruined it for Mike. You just ruined it for Mike.
Mom gets killed by Dalmatians.
Oh man. Well, I did not have any plans to see it because I am of that same mindset of like, I don't need to see why the bad guy is the bad guy. Like, she was arguably one of the most villainous Disney villains for just killing dogs for fashion.
Yeah, her name is literally Cruel Evil.
Yeah. Cruella de Vil.
Yeah.
Is that
Cruella de Vil? That's her name, Cruel Devil.
Cruel Devil.
Like so, but that movie's really fucking good. Like, it's the performances. And again, I haven't seen the last, I think, 2 movies that Emma Stone has done for whatever reason. I forget the titles. But this movie, in my opinion, I was like, this is the best I've ever seen Emma Stone. And that's not a knock on other movies that Emma Stone has been in. This is just stands out above the rest as I'm watching it. And I'm looking at my wife, I'm like, hey, this is fucking good, right? She's like, it's great. I'm like, oh, good, thank God. I'm not, it's not just
you do need to bounce it off someone where you're like, I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying it too. Great, good. I don't feel like like
yeah, it's a weird thing.
There were like a lot of politics involved with that in the entertainment industry too, because it happened around the time of when ScarJo was suing Disney. And so Emma came back around and she sued Disney also because of contractual shit and streaming. And then
because it opened the pandemic release, right?
Right. Yeah. And then it opened up another floodgate for residual payments to costume designers because they were like marketing the shit out of the toys and putting all of these beautiful like couture design dresses for the movie onto the dolls. And they're like, we're not seeing a single cent from all of the merchandising that you're doing based off of our design. So it like, as good of a movie as it is, and I did enjoy it, like I got sucked into like the politics behind all the bullshit around the movie too. Which
if I had known any of that information and not be so stupid and self-centered and fucking close my ears to any of that, I would totally be with you and be like, yeah, I don't want to put this movie in. But because I didn't know any of that shit, that's like when people go, oh, it's not as good as the book. That's your fault for reading, dummy. That's your fucking bad for reading. Who the fuck told you to read? Don't read. If you don't read, you don't get into this situation. Boom.
Yeah.
Every time I hear about that stuff, all I think about is Spaceballs, merchandising. That's where the money of the movie is. Merchandising. Spaceballs, the flamethrower.
So we had number 8, Godzilla versus Kong. Number Zack Snyder's Justice League and Cruella. Number 7, Mike. What's your number 7?
I think I'm gonna go number 7, Eternals. Marvel's Eternals. You can all you want. It's my list.
I love that movie. I enjoyed it as well. I had zero reference to this movie. This is another one of those. If you read the books, this is your bad. Yeah. I have zero information, prior knowledge to the Eternals getting into it. As much as I like comic books as a kid, I was never a space comic book reader. Like once I was like, hey, give me X-Men. Oh, this X-Men goes into space. I'm out. Let me know when they come back to it. I don't fucking.
It gets too fantastical. It gets too out of the. You can't relate to it.
So my whole thing. So I didn't know anything about Eternals. I didn't know anything about whatever. So, but I thought that movie was a lot of fucking fun. And you know,
well,
it was a lot to explain.
To it, man. It's just like it just felt like it was way too far up its own ass. And I love Marvel shit so much, but it just like, I don't know, it missed the mark for me. In my opinion, it's probably the worst like Marvel movie. But yeah, why do you love it, Mike?
I will say no. I will say, in an era where Eternals was fun, I dug it. Thank you, Jeff. It was fun.
That's cool. No dig on people who loved it or enjoyed themselves. It's just for me. I saw it fun. It just
I totally took the dig at Mike for liking Kong versus Godzilla. So let's.
Yeah. You can dig. Everybody can dig. It's a judge. You should judge. You should judge.
Mike's number 1 is Mortal
like
Kombat.
What they don't like and what they do and what they don't do. Huh? Honorable mention. Mortal Kombat. The reality is that this is also, again, the pandemic changed the way I watched all movies last year. So when it came out, I was excited to go to the movies. All I did, the movies I saw in the theater were all big budget Marvel shit. And
so you've joined the rest of society for the last 5 years?
Well, no, because during the pandemic, I was really locked down. Like
Yeah,
I was, but not even
nobody.
like
But that's the whole thing. The whole thing about the movie industry is like in the last 5 years, nobody really goes to fucking watch Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah,
in the
Ridley
movie
Scott.
theater.
Oh, superhero movie.
The
It's
Last
all of
Duel
it.
made $3. It's like, yeah, I don't want to watch you jerk off as a director and camera.
I did, but it's a
Yeah.
great movie though. It really is
I'm
a good
sure
movie.
it is, but I will say this: the fact that
It's fine.
I went to go see it, it was trying to do. It had to, like, when you think about it, it had to do a lot, like
A lot.
introduce.
Yeah, it
So,
does do a lot.
It felt cluttered, and some of the things felt rushed until you realize, like, once I realized that they're talking about thousands of years. Like
Yeah.
the time span between scenes is literally millennia. So
Mhm.
any character changes were justified. The second I kind of wrapped my head around the time scale of the movie, I was like, oh yeah, whatever they do is fine. And then the big fight at the end was very cool to me in the sense of like they did Justice League almost better than Justice League did it in terms of the Whedon Justice League.
Not almost. Don't say almost.
It's called the Justice League.
The Justice League. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
literally Makari is Flash and Icarus is Superman, and Superman is fighting the fucking Flash in this movie. There is like that scene where they're fighting each other. I was literally like, this is great. The whole
Athena's Wonder Woman.
Yes, Thena does a full-on Wonder Woman, and it's Angelina Jolie just having fun being fucking famous. Salma Hayek just having like it's an ensemble cast. She shows up. She barely has to talk. She falls in love with Gilgamesh. They have this really all of these. The best character in the movie was what's his name? Assistant, the Kingo's assistant, the Indian guy.
Oh right, yeah.
He was great. Everything, all these little moments were great, and it was just a genuinely fun movie. The thing is that if it was, because it's an MCU movie and everyone's like, how does it fit in, man? Where does it connect? And why wasn't Thanos fighting? And why did who is this guy? What's his name? Jon Snow. Why is he only there for 5 minutes? And was that Blade's
the Black Knight, man? That stinger at the end was good.
All of that comes in, like the fact that it had to connect to everything else, almost like I think changed people's perception of it. Because if you watch it just as it is, you're like, this is great. You know, like this was fun, and it's all of human evolution. Why it's very different.
That's why
previous
people hated it, Mike.
No, Jeff, it's a very different Marvel movie from everything that came out before. Yeah, because it's
very true. It's very true.
It's so big, and I dug it. I dug it. They thousands of years.
To me, that's my favorite. I want to say 1A, 1B of my favorite Marvel movies last year.
Yeah, I mean,
so I thought it was.
I'll give it another watch and see if I can get back on board with it.
I got to be honest with you. The only reason I didn't like it more is because I thought it was too not well lit. I think I thought it was dark, but I think that's a thing of the movie theater I went to, because I went to go see because I went to go see Ghostbusters there, and it was also like, this is not as well lit as because I saw Ghostbusters twice within a 24-hour time period. It's gonna be on my list. And then the second time was at this movie theater that I happened to have seen Eternals a month prior, and I was like, oh, so it is a movie theater, because it's not even Ghostbusters that I saw 12 hours ago was a better lit movie in the other theater. So that was the thing. I did have literally I'm watching it going like, why is it so fucking dark? Can you guys get a fucking flashlight up in this bitch?
It's like season 8 Game of Thrones.
What is a movie projector? Is that just a fucking big flashlight?
Yeah, I'm just like, do you guys need an extra one?
Turn the high beams on.
Yeah,
what's happening?
Fucking slide your phone up. If you slide it all the way up, it get better, more
brightness. The screen brightness go high.
Stein, what's your number 7?
Number 7. Oh God, I absolutely fell in love with this film. The Mitchells versus the Machines on Netflix.
Cable.
Ooh, I have not seen it.
There you go. It's so good.
It's the best versus movie that came out last year.
You know what? I agree. I agree.
What about you, Larry?
My number 7 is super fun. We talked about it on last year on an episode of Geekmore, and it is Army of the Dead. I really fucking enjoyed that movie. It had a zombie tiger, guys. That's all I gotta fucking. I mean, you need more than that in a zombie movie. I don't know what the fuck you're looking for in life, man. I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, so much fun.
So good. And the only thing that killed it for me was not killed it, that I guess took me out of it, was the fact that I had seen that episode from Rick and Morty, or the heist, where they spent like, you son of a bitch, I'm in.
Son of a bitch, I'm in.
The entire fucking first 25 minutes of Army of the Dead is, you son of a bitch, I'm in. And I'm like, the whole time I was like, this is, you son of a bitch, I'm in. Like, this is the whole time. So it didn't kill it for me, but it definitely took me out of it to acknowledge, holy shit, they're doing the son of a bitch, I'm in.
Yeah. And the fact that they made a fucking sequel, or I guess prequel rather, to it with Army of Thieves, which was also a really good time.
I haven't seen it yet. I started watching it and then life got in the way, kids, stupid fucking kids. And then so I haven't seen it yet. But Army of the Dead, yeah, but you're right. Army of the Dead is so much fun, dude. I had a lot of fucking fun with it. It was great. The king and queen zombie and all that shit. I thought it was fucking well done. Well done. The way they contained it so that it's not the entire planet, the entire country, it's only one city. And the fact that the fact that it all started over a blowjob is the most relatable, believable thing I've ever fucking seen in my life.
Spoilers!
In any zombie movie, in any fucking post-apocalyptic, in any horror movie, if you like, it all started because some guy was trying to get a blowjob. You're like, oh, I get it. It tracks. I believe everything because anything is possible at that point. The fact that anything happens, anything.
You turn to your girl and you're like, see, that's what happens when you drag your teeth.
Yeah.
It was Roadhead that was like the
it was Roadhead, and I was like,
I've only been
totally
in
believable.
one big accident in my car accident in my life, and it was the same trip that I got my first blowjob while driving.
I wonder if those two are related.
Not related. Listen, not related. We hit a patch of black ice like a half hour later, but it was in the same trip.
Yeah, sure. Is that what you call it?
Is that her name? Black Ice?
Black Ice?
Is that the prostitute you had in the car's name? Hey, Black Ice, come here.
Right, Molly, if you're listening, that's your new stripper name.
That's hilarious.
Black
Number
Ice.
7. I love the fact you said her name. It's hilarious.
She's
Number
not
7, Eternals. But we're gonna fucking this will be the commercial.
We're gonna add her.
We're gonna cut this. We're gonna cut this and then fucking post this on Instagram and be like, if you're listening.
Talk to her like a
number
decade.
7. Number 7 is Eternals, Mitchells versus the Machines, and Army of the Dead. All right, number 6. What do you got?
Free
number
Guy.
6? Free Guy was such a good movie. Such a fucking fun movie.
Guy
that was a fun movie.
A lot of
honorable
fun.
mention.
And it was one of those that came out of nowhere for me. I was like, Ryan Reynolds, I'll go watch. And he's the king of marketing his own identity. Ryan Reynolds is like he is
Watch me be myself with guns. Watch me be myself with special effects. Watch me be myself with a romantic comedy. Like, it's always like himself.
He's
like, it's
in on the joke of himself, but also in Free Guy, it's a little bit different in the sense of that he's still him being this NPC character. And if you've played any online game like Grand Theft Auto or like any MMO or anything like that, you understand that you are like, even going all the way back to like Zelda, when you just walk into people's houses and start destroying everything inside to get the rupees in there. Like it was like an interesting movie. And I don't know if it's been done before, but there's like that idea of the movie told from the NPC's point of view, like from not the hero, but from the side, like we're talking about with Glee, like the secondary characters. This is that movie, and it was Taika Waititi is hilarious as the game developer guy. I'm sure there's a lot of inside baseball game development stuff. Like crunch is a thing that game developers go through at the end of their release, like up to their release of their game, where the programmers are forced to work like 60, 80, 100-hour weeks, like just cranking out, programming, and it causes the game to suck a little bit. And then the monetization of everything is also part of it. And it was just like a kind of like a nice Steve from Stranger Things is in it. The girl is The
Rock
great.
is in it.
The Rock is in it?
Yeah,
he's in everything.
He's one of the guys that robs a bank. He did a cameo.
Oh, wait, no shit, really?
Yeah,
yes, I do.
Because they all got masks on, so
they all
got
masks on. Yeah,
cool.
And then Chris Evans is in it.
Chris Evans at the end going, "What the fuck?
What the fuck?"
Because he references it's great. I mean, it was just like really well done, and it kind of it was an interesting concept, and Yeah, again,
And
a lot of fun.
might I add that as I'm watching it, I'm going, man, these special effects are fucking amazing.
Yeah,
like
really good.
I audibly commented during watching. I'm like, these special effects are fucking amazing, and it got nominated for best fucking special effects. And I was like, yep,
Nice.
that makes sense. That all tracks. I was
It,
like,
it felt better than Ready Player One to me because it was like,
yeah,
like Ready. It's a similar idea of like being in the
Yeah.
world, but also like they
similar.
did it.
You know why it looked better? Because the characters weren't.
Yeah, they were real. They were
real. It was
live action.
as opposed to a CGI character in a CGI world. This was a human, a real person in
Like,
a CGI world.
It wasn't.
That's where I
performance
think
art.
Ready Player One fucked up because it looked. This shit looked.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
like digitized them and it was all CGI like Avatar
Yeah.
style and yeah.
But that's it.
But they would, but like when they would show the Free Guy like world when it was actually in the real world, because sometimes you would see it like on a screen, then it would look like a video game. But when they were
Like a video
actually
game.
in the world,
So
it
well
looked
done.
like the real world. Yeah.
So well done. And they held off the release of this movie for over a year because it was supposed to come out in 2020. And they held out even when everybody was like straight to video or double release. They were like, nope, they don't give a fuck. All right, so Stein, what do you got for number 6?
Number 6, The Suicide Squad.
Table.
God damn.
Yeah. Here's the thing, like you don't get to like we'll talk about it, but that means that you put other stuff higher on the list. I'm curious as to like your personal.
I like the fact he's like you're literally explaining like, so you're saying better, right? Other things are you like
No,
other
but,
things
like,
more?
What could possibly have been better than what I think is good?
Yeah.
Well, you'll find out.
I know. I'm curious.
My number 6 is Mitchell's versus the Machines. So we can talk about it now, Stein.
Yes.
It's so fucking good. It was so good. This is the second animated movie on my list, not the last. And it was so fucking good. It was fun. It was creative. The music was great. The music they chose was really good. I just had a lot, and it pulls at the father-daughter heartstrings, man. And you just
So good.
It was so good.
And the mom too. Maya Rudolph as the mom, like at the very end, going just full on beast mode. Just like, don't mess with mom. I cried watching because it was like when you're talking about the character development, the relationships, the protagonist, the main protagonist, the girl. It was so relatable and such a well-rounded character. Like everyone had 3 dimensions. Even the little brother and like even the dog, like the whole thing was just amazing.
Yeah,
the animation style as well. Like
the animation style was a lot of fun. I cried when she seen that old tape of him taking the bear from the house that he built and shit. And it's like it was so fucking good, man. And those old videos of them like singing along, and she no longer wants to hang out with him. And I'm like, and having now 2 daughters, I'm like, that's gonna be me. It's gonna be like, they're gonna be like, I don't want to fucking hang out with you, old man. It was brutal, man. But I remember watching that movie going like, this is gonna be in my top 10 easy. Like it was really high up there because it came out early last year. But I really fucking enjoyed it.
I rarely like do this, but I did actually like go on Twitter and like added the writer, and I was like, fucking kudos, this movie was amazing. Didn't get a reply, but all the same, like I hope that my screaming into the void of just like compliments reached his ears.
yeah, I agree, man. I agree. Also, I would love to ask the writer, like, is everything okay with your dad? Because there's clearly some shit you're trying to work out. Or your daughter, whichever one you have. But there's clearly some shit you're trying to work out, and I would like to reach out to you and hug you and say, hey, it's gonna be okay.
That was like that movie Onward, where the guy, it's like the real story is super depressing, and then
the movie and the cartoon was super depressing.
Yeah, it was.
It was. They didn't really fluff it up much better. It was like my dad died. I never got to meet him, and I have this recording that I play with 4 words.
Oh yeah, so crushing. Yeah,
brutal. All right, so number 6 was Free Guy, The Suicide Squad, and Mitchell's versus the Machines. So number 5, Mike.
My number 5 is Shang-Chi, Legend of the Ten.
There it is. Very good.
Don't you mean Sean?
Sean? Yeah.
Sean?
You changed
Sean?
your name from Shang to Sean?
How did they find you?
My favorite part about the promotion for this movie was literally when everyone was like, "Say fucking Shang-Chi right," you know, like
Yeah.
that was very funny. But yeah, so no, it's no table. Okay, I love this movie, man. I thought it was, I thought it was great. I thought it redeemed the Mandarin, the Wenwu
Yes.
character. I loved the oh, there's a dog now. There's a lady.
Oh, there's a dog. Neri has a dog. What a beauty.
Did you hear me, lady? But yeah, no, I genuinely loved. It's one of my heartbreaks. The biggest heartbreaks was Iron Fist on Netflix being as bad as it was.
It's just
so fucking bad. And
Finn Jones, that guy just
he got
so
miscast
miscast.
last minute, and it was like a big mess. They didn't have time to rehearse or choreograph. And when they I was just so bummed at how it turned out. And the second season honestly is a little bit better, but even then it was just not worth it. This I was dying for a kung fu martial arts movie in the MCU because they had the tools. And when this came out and Simu Liu was like so perfectly cast.
So charismatic, and like I've never known his acting, his work, and like anything else. I know he was in like Kim's Convenience, and that
was the big one that they mentioned.
Yeah. I've never even seen or heard of him, and also that gives me hope for my own career as a basically unknown actor. You know,
well,
like I've done stuff, but like maybe I could be in the MCU one day. You know, like
he tweeted that shit out.
Yeah,
he literally tweeted that out.
He fucking worked real hard to do it, like producing independent like kung fu shit. Just him and his friends, and like shooting it well, choreographing it well, putting it up onto YouTube, and then tweeting at them. He's like, "Hey, are we going to talk about this, Marvel, about Shang-Chi?"
Yeah. Give me that Shang-Chi. Well, also the fact
I'm looking to tweet at Marvel and be like, "Hey, are we going to do like a Brown Puma? Because I could be Brown Puma, man. I could fucking do that shit." Or what? Because we don't have a lot of fucking Latino Marvel characters. Oh yeah, maybe we should fucking work on that, Marvel.
Yeah. Well, they're about to get one in Doctor Strange 2. But also so in Shang-Chi, the story of the 10 rings being changed from the comic book, I thought was interesting. And they just kind of like, I'm glad they didn't do they treated it like a genuine like Hong Kong kung fu action movie where it was like unflinchingly martial arts, like they did all of the big spectacle, they did the wire work, they did all of the fighting, the choreography was respectful, and also like it's based in Chinese tradition, and they didn't do a lot of the, let's face it, the 70s comic book characters that were Asian definitely had a lot of we'll just say racist undertones, like very
a lot of Fu Manchus flying around.
That was actually his name in the comics.
There was a guy. Yeah, there
was a Fu Manchu.
His actual name was Fu Manchu. Like, what the fuck? Like, that's.
I mean,
like, whoever's writing this in the 70s goes like, "Is this racist?" Nah, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
They're like nailed it. Like we got it exactly. Ching chong bing bong sing song, and they did it great, and I did love the setup that they gave at the like, again, because it has to be in the Marvel universe, there's certain rules that they have to follow. I love that they brought back Trevor Slattery and they kind of gave him his due.
Attention.
Yeah, I love that they re-released the All Hail the King, which is the one shot of him in jail, and they like that explains a little bit more. And I just am happy with the way that it turned out and how like great the martial arts. I remember watching that in the theater going.
We talked about it on an episode of Kickflix, Mike and I. So
we love martial arts movies so much. We have a separate podcast called Kickflix, where we go and we review martial arts movies.
Also, Michelle Yeoh is now the only actor in the MCU to play two separate characters, because she had a small part in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 at the very end as one of the Ravager captains, and now
that's a cameo.
Chris Evans was Human Torch,
still she's had, but that's not MCU. If you're talking
Those
about
are all
OG
variants.
Fantastic Four.
They've introduced that they are all variants.
We're gonna
and
get
they
back
all-
not only
around to
that-
it, but
Not only that, but Kevin Feige did produce that movie. So I mean,
okay.
That's my number 5. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
all right, Stein, what do you got for number 5?
Well, you mentioned it earlier. It's when you're a jet all the way from your first cigarette to your last dying day. It's West Side Story. So good.
I believe it's pronounced West Side Story.
West Side Story. Yeah, man.
I haven't seen a new one.
Oh, it's so well done.
I haven't seen. I'm
And,
sure
like,
it is. It's Spielberg,
yeah.
but I just haven't had time. And it came out in theaters, and I haven't had time. I've been working
For sure.
yeah.
I mean, I'm in SAG, so I got the screener for it, and that's the only reason I got to see it. But wow, just so beautifully done, incredibly well acted, perfectly cast. Like, it's so meticulously well made. You know, you watch it and you're like, yes, Steven Spielberg knows what the fuck he's doing. You know, like sometimes
this guy's going somewhere. This guy's going places.
somewhere. This guy's going places.
Keep an eye on
Keep
that guy.
eye on this one. Yeah.
Was was Ansel Elgort good?
Yeah, he was great. Every single person in that movie crushes it. Absolutely. Brian Darcy James is Officer Krupke. Amazing. The fight scene, like where they kill each other. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Jeff says the best part was when all of the Jets' bicycles started flying when they were running from the cops.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the alien showed up.
Hold on. I'm gonna bring up a deep cut WuBro thing. Is your wife still afraid of E.T.?
Oh yeah. Yeah, she's afraid of it. Not as bad as Dave's wife, Stephanie Ulloa, is like terrified. Where my wife is like, "Oh, that looks gross. Get off! I don't want to see it." And
they have phobias of ET.
And Jeff's and Dave's wife is like,
wild,
and she like literally has a physical reaction to it. It's
of ET.
Yeah, it's
the lovable alien ET, potential Jedi ET. That's a separate thing.
That's true. This is true. So yeah, number 5, West Side Story.
How did you feel? Because I'm a huge fan, and again, and unapologetically, not only is she super talented, but I'm a huge fan because of the fact that also on top of that she's Hispanic of Rita Moreno. How did you like the change in story with the shopkeeper where she's the widow of?
Yeah, they gave her due, and she well deserved. You know, she's a fucking legend, and she was also like the heart of the neighborhood that's looking at these two rival gangs, being like, "What the fuck is wrong with you guys? You shouldn't be fighting. We all live together. Like, we're all human. You cut me, you cut yourself. We both bleed red blood." You know, that type of a character. Because Ansel Elgort's character Tony, he's living in her, like, in the basement of the convenience store that she owns. So you've got like the white kid and the widowed Hispanic like grandmother, and they're friends. Really, really good. Yeah,
I saw the behind the scenes of it, and they talked about like, oh, the hiring process when Spielberg calls, and she said that her agent was like, "Hey, Steven Spielberg wants to talk to you. Is it all right if I give him your number?" She was like, "What? Yeah. What the fuck is wrong again? Why are you
talking to me? I should be talking to Spielberg right now."
Yeah, a Hollywood legend would like to contact you. Is it okay if we give him? He's like, yes.
Yeah, the owner of movies, he wants to talk to you.
Yeah.
He's the owner of movies.
She said that when Spielberg called her, she literally had no idea why he would be calling her. She's like, I don't fucking know.
He could be making Jaws 8 with an iPhone. Yeah, sure, fine.
Yeah, whatever. So then she said that he offered her the role, like, oh, we're doing West Side Story, whatever, blah blah. And then she goes, look, I love you and I appreciate you and you're great, but I don't do cameos. And she said that to fucking Steven Spielberg. And I'm just like, my admiration for this woman, I did not think it could be fucking any higher, but my admiration for you know what I mean? To fucking
Broadway
tell
diva style, man.
To tell Steven fucking Spielberg, like, I thank you, but I don't do cameos. And Spielberg was like, no. We've written an entire new part just for you. And he's like, did I not mention that? And she was like, no, you didn't. like the balls on Rita Moreno to be like, I don't do cameos. Like, to Steven Spielberg? You said that shit to Steven fucking Spielberg? Where I was like, wow. All right. I'm looking forward to watching it. I still haven't seen it yet. My number 5. This is where it gets tough, guys. This is where it gets tough. But my number 5 is Pixar's Luca. It was so fucking dope. It explored a lot of relationships with kids and that type of shit. That I had a lot of fun with this movie. There was a moment there where I thought, watching the movie, and I talked about this on an episode of WuBro, previous episode, is I thought the kids, it was like an exploration of gay feelings or like, and it turns out it wasn't. Either way, I was cool with it either way, but I was like, I wonder if this is what they mean by this, and it turned out it wasn't. But either way, it was a lot of fun. It's kind of weird that this movie got overshadowed because of Lin-Manuel Miranda's songwriting skills. Because this movie was the it movie for months. Nobody could stop talking about Luca. And then Encanto came out and they're like, have you heard this song? And I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah.
God damn it.
I remember it going from Silencio Bruno to we don't talk about Bruno.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Bruno.
Bruno.
Yeah, it's two Brunos. That's right. I didn't even think about that.
It's a tale of two Brunos.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't see this movie. I heard it was great. I'd heard that it's about like people were taking it as an like a gay discovery, allegory. But whatever's intended is the audience art.
It could be like I think in the beginning of the movie more so, but then later on I think it reveals itself to be more of a my dad left me and I'm trying to latch on to any kind of relationship because I have abandonment issues. And it's like okay.
Do you find, because this has come up a couple times in your listening, you are the only father of the three of us. Do you feel like that we know of that you feel influences your movie watching, like you watch it in a different way than we would watch it?
Well, I definitely rewatch movies from my past differently now as a parent. So it would be impossible for me to know how I would watch this movie now without having kids because I don't know what it's like to not have kids anymore. But I could tell you that there are movies, animated or non-animated, that hit differently now, even though they may have. I haven't seen October Sky since I became a father, and I cannot imagine.
I love that movie.
I love that movie prior to me being a father. But I will tell you, like movies like Tarzan, like Disney's Tarzan, the animated movie Tarzan. I remember watching that movie, and it was one of my favorite Disney movies growing up. And I remember watching it when my first daughter was born. Watching it, and it was like the tears, like it was effortless, like the tears just streamed down. I'm like, what the fuck is happening to my face? It wasn't like I felt something and then tears. It was like the tears was like, oh no, you don't even know it's hitting you yet, but it's about to hit you. And I'm like, oh no, it's hitting me.
It's like 3, 2.
I really love the animation style because it was a departure from like Pixar's normal animation style. It had almost like a mixture of like Aardman, which said like Wallace and Gromit and Chicken Run and that sort of like claymation.
It's the eyes. It's the eyes.
The eyes, yeah, and just sort of like the way that the characters are shaped. Plus, like some tones of like Miyazaki and Studio Ghibli with like just the beautiful blue sky landscapes. I don't know if you ever saw like Porco Rosso, which is about the like ace fighter pilot, but he's a pig man and he's like in Italy. So it just sort of like reminded me of
a lot of the it has
like
a lot of like
also with like the
has a lot it has a lot of like tip your hat to all these Italian movies, even like the posters in the background and like they go to see, it's a whole thing. But I love this movie a lot, man. It was a lot of fun. I really do feel like kind of this, I don't want to say anger, but this kind of like frustration where I was like, the movie Encanto, I don't know if it's on their list. I like the movie and it was good, but the music is really what makes that movie. And if you strip away those amazing songs by Lin-Manuel Miranda, Luca is an outright better movie. And people are just like, have you seen fucking Encanto? This song is amazing. And I'm like, but Luca
I don't like Lin-Manuel Miranda. I'm tired of pretending I do. But
Oh no, I love him. He's
Encanto
great.
was all right. But like I liked.
I mean, he's an awful actor, but I do think he's a great songwriter.
Interesting.
But he wasn't in Encanto, so that's why reason I could. He's a great songwriter. I mean,
There's a movie where he voices like a monkey and he did all of the music.
Cuban
for it.
oh yeah, the Cuban one. That was good. I like that. I like that one too.
I
What
never
I mean by
watched.
actor, I mean
playing-
Mary Poppins. That's what I mean by actor. He's not good at Mary Poppins. That's really all I care about.
Yeah, I mean he's having a moment, and you know, like good for him. He's worked his ass off, and I'd like really dig like everything that he's doing just for the world in general because he's a good person. But yeah, like that one with the where he was the monkey. I was visiting my family back in Colorado, and my niece had it on in the background. I wanted to blow my fucking brains out because one of the songs, and it was so annoying. I'm sorry, I can't remember what it was. I was just like, turn it off.
That's how I felt watching In the Heights. In the Heights was unbearable, that movie. And then except for the song, the Cuban lady sings the Paciencia y Fe. And that like genuinely hit me a lot harder than I thought it would because I connected to the like it was like I reminded me of my grandma, you know, and like my family. But other than that, because it was like a straight up traditional like Latin ballad, not hey, I'm rap talking, I'm like 311 but Puerto Rican, you know, like that kind of shit where I do not like Lin-Manuel's writing style.
I like the fact that he's Mike in a mocking tone goes, "Hey, look at this, something I like," and I'm like,
Yeah.
And you're like, you're like, look at this, I'm rapping. I'm like, yeah, I like rap. I'm
rap. That's fully cool. Convinced. Lin-Manuel Miranda sounds like the two dudes from 311 if they were one guy.
I don't even know. I didn't even know 311 was two guys.
Right?
I didn't even know.
Like, I don't know what that means, but it makes sense, you know?
You know what it means. Everyone who hears me say that knows exactly what it means.
I've never heard 311,
but understand
it. Go listen to 311 and tell me that it's not like if you merged them together into one person in like a test tube. They cloned them and together. Out would pop Lin-Manuel Miranda, all that shit. Whatever. I'm sorry. Go on. That's my own.
Jeff says Ron's gone wrong.
I don't know that one.
Ron's yeah, that was the one where every kid has their like own little robot. It looks like kind of like an egg, and one kid, he doesn't have his family doesn't have money, you know, so he gets like the deficient one that the dad got was like a floor model that was broken, but the flaw in the robot is what makes it special and unique, and actually like shines a bigger light on sort of like what's wrong with kids and their devices. It was actually pretty good. I like Ron's Gone Wrong, but I don't know if I would say that it was greater than Luca. Just so thematically different. So thematically different. Both good movies, though.
Hilda says that Paciencia y Fe had her hardcore ugly crying, that she had so many feels. So did Mike.
I did. I genuinely was like, what is, I had your expression. I was like, I didn't, you know, I'm not really connected to my like Cuban roots, like genuinely as much as some other people claim to be. So I'm just like watching it. I'm just like, it's getting harder to inhale. Boy, the air's salty, huh? Woo! Why is there so much dust in the? You know, it was like genuinely like by the end of the song, because it's also the song where she dies. For spoiler alert, and that's she's like the heart and soul of the whatever of the neighborhood. But yeah, it was genuinely like the only song that I liked, and she was fucking great in it.
The song in the pool was good too. Again, I don't know that I'm not a huge fan of that play or the movie. It was fine. I thought it was fine. But to me, it's like I saw it. The downfall for me of In the Heights is that I saw it after I saw Hamilton. So I'm just like, it's not Hamilton. So I'm just like, oh, this was like, okay. And I could see where he wrote this first and then Hamilton. That makes sense to me as a writer. You go, oh, you got better with Hamilton. But now that I'm seeing it after Hamilton, I'm like, oh, it's not as good. Right. It's not. It's just not as good. That's my opinion. Let's see. And
we're on number 4 now.
And I'm only half Cuban, but it hit me completely. Yeah.
It's an immigrant story. It's just a wonderful presentation of the immigrant story. Is my takeaway.
All right, number 4, Mike. What do you got for number 4, man?
Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Table.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Even higher up on the list.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good.
All right. Stop. What do you got for number 4?
Here, number 4, Denis Villeneuve's Dune.
Honorable
You know
mention,
what?
but I love that movie.
Still have not seen it, man. Still have not seen
Oh my
it.
god. What a triumph. And like the David Lynch one back in the day, it has a special place in my heart. It's so campy. The soundtrack by Toto is like, I love that fucking soundtrack. It's so corny, the cheese. But wow, a visual spectacle, a masterpiece like of production design. And the fact that they are doing it over the course of 2 movies, giving it room to breathe and really exploring like the lore of Dune is showing respect to the source material. I know that there's a lot of stuff that's gotten left out of it, like for the fucking Dune heads out there. Relax, stop bitching about it. It's fucking good. Timothée Chalamet, and it is pronounced Timothée. I know it sounds pretentious as hell to say his name correctly, but that's actually
how it's really how it's pronounced. Timothée.
It's pronounced Timothée Chalamet.
Timothée.
Yeah, exactly. But it's one of those things where you read it
Timothy. Is that what you're saying?
It is spelled that way, which is why he doesn't correct people. But
I guess it's like Timoteo. Like I've heard that.
For like the guy. First of all, beautiful as hell. Like stunning man to look at. I will say it.
Very sharp, angular cheekbones.
So sharp, angular, svelte, androgynous looking guy, but seems like a really cool fucking dude on top of being an incredibly talented actor. So I got like nothing bad to say about it. I got like a couple of friends that studied with him here in New York and just seems like a real like down to earth, cool fucking guy. So all the best and the success to him. Oscar Isaac, fucking Jason Momoa. The whole cast, Zendaya, she's everywhere and having her moment. But yeah, get on it. It's really good.
But it did definitely feel like the first part, like I watched it and I loved it, but it absolutely was not a complete movie. It did not tell a complete story. It was
volume
literally
1.
the first. It's the season premiere of a series of television. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If they had named it Dune Volume 1, I think people may have lowered their expectations because when it did end, it did feel like a little abrupt. But fine. There's more story to be told.
I was just able to watch Sopranos for the first time, so abrupt ending. I'm all for it, man. I know all about it.
It didn't just go to black at the very end.
Yeah. What the fuck is happening?
What the fuck? Yeah.
All right, dude. I'm looking forward to watching it. I own it. I just haven't seen it yet. Seen it yet.
The score by Hans Zimmer is the most Hans Zimmer fucking shit in the world. It's like
he's my favorite. He's so good.
Yeah. A lot of bombs.
Yeah. All right, my number 4 is The King's Man.
Ooh,
there it is.
Yes,
The King's Man.
Did you know what it was going into it?
Yes, absolutely. So I knew that it was a prequel going into it. However, my expectations were really lowered because if you're a fan of the original movie for the first of the franchise itself, The Kingsman, MEN, it is super out there, super like, I mean, it's one of those things where it's so exaggerated for the sake of being exaggerated, and that's part of the fun. Like it's mocking itself, like it's a spy movie. In fact, the first one they're talking about those spy movies, old spy movies, and it's only as good as the villain and blah 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 and that stuff there. And then the heads are blowing off with confetti and shit and whatever. Light show,
Samuel L. Jackson with a lisp.
Yeah, with the lisp. And all of those things. But here's the thing: the tech is super high tech, right? The fucking spy tech is super high tech. An umbrella that you can see through that's bulletproof and all this shit there. And super high tech. So when they announced the prequel and when they showed the thing, I'm like, wait, the prequel's gonna be World War I. I'm like, in my mind, immediately lowered my expectations because I was like, you can't really do high tech. You're not really gonna be able to do high tech because it's fucking World War I, and you can't. It's not gonna be the same. And I was right. It was not the same. And in fact, I would say this is better. I'm like, oh, because it felt like a quote unquote real movie as opposed to like, oh, we're just making this for fun movie. were
It felt like The Mummy. Do you remember The Mummy? It
no,
felt
this
like
felt
that
good.
to me.
This felt good.
No, the
And-
Brendan Fraser Mummy.
yeah, this was
Oh,
felt
I
good.
thought you were
though.
talking
This
about
felt
the
good.
fucking. Okay. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
this felt good. Brendan
What?
Fraser movie sucked. That Brendan Fraser fucking Mummy was god awful, and I'm tired of pretending.
All right,
I like
guys,
it.
I'm signing off. Good night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mary's alone on that island.
Oh, sure. He says he doesn't like Lin-Manuel Miranda. Oh, that's okay. That's fine. It's totally okay to fucking trash a national hero. That's fine. I talk shit about a
National hero.
25-year-old movie. Oh no!
You're gonna tell me that Brendan Fraser isn't a fucking national hero?
Yeah, come on, man. Well,
He's
I'll
a
tell you-
treasure.
All right. Let me retract the controversial part, and I will say that I enjoyed I'm a big fan of historical fiction or like altered history, where or like there's a show on Apple TV Plus called For All Mankind, and it's about the Russians beating us to the moon, and it is altered like this kind of like historical fiction, and it changes a little bit.
Like
This
Man in the High
movie
Castle type shit.
Man in the High Castle, all that stuff. This one, it doesn't really change anything, but it tells like the story, the behind the scenes version of what's going on.
If you know like the stories leading up to World War One, I didn't know what to expect. I was watching this, I'm like, oh, that really did happen.
Yeah.
There really was an assassination attempt. Oh no, that really did, and that was foiled. Shout out to Hardcore History, who taught me all of these things. And I was like, oh, this is really good. I enjoyed the fuck out of Kingsman. It pushed a couple movies out of my list. I was like, I'm sorry, bye. And I watched it like a month ago. I want to say January that I watched The Kingsman, and I was like, this is so fucking good. And I would say this as a huge fan of not just superhero movies, not just DC movies, but specifically Wonder Woman, the movie Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
This movie has a no man's land scene that rivals as I'm watching, and I'm like, is this a better no man's land scene than Wonder Woman? And I haven't answered that question. I don't think it is. Ultimately, I don't think it is. But still, the fact that that's even a question that's to me very impressive. That it's even a question, because it's so fucking good.
I wonder how I can say this if I don't want to spoil anything, but the drama of the scene with the sun in the no man's land was just like very heavy, and it meant something after you watch like for it being like this campy action movie. That
I've only seen half of it, so don't spoil too much.
No,
okay,
I don't want to, but that alone was like worth it being on my list. The fact that I'm watching this movie with this bullshit secret organization, and it's all kind of this heightened, exaggerated history, and in that moment it's like, oh shit, like you feel it. I was genuinely like, that's what put it on my list, where I'm like, oh, this was supposed to be dumb and fun, and now it's actually like good, and I'm committed.
Yes. Yeah. That's the scene that did it to me too, where I was like, oh, this is fun. This is a fun movie because I know the franchise. And then it got to that part of the movie, and I'm like, shut the fuck up. This is a real movie, man. I'm like so fucking in. So good.
I was watching it with Chiquita, and we both sat forward, and we were like,
yes. We like, okay. I'm watching the movie.
I'm watching the movie.
And it also made me realize how little I actually know about World War One, because I had no fucking clue that those three guys were related to each other. That King George and the Kaiser and
that
the
whole
Tsar
thing,
I had no fucking clue.
The assassination attempt, that whole thing, the reason why World War One kicked off, that was a real thing. The fact that the first assassination attempt was spoiled, the coffee shop that they turned into a coffee shop, that actually fucking happened. That was real. Rasputin was a real fucking person who was apparently fucking killed 14 different ways before they finally found him frozen in a fucking river. Like, it's like, if you know these things, I'm like, this is so great how they made this into this is supposed to be a dumb action movie. Like, how the fuck is this?
It was so way good, smarter. Man. It was way smart, because the Kingsman Golden Circle, the one with Channing Tatum, was not good. Was not good. And I don't
know if it was not good. It just was like, it was just a fall from part one. It was like it was fine.
Yeah, it's the lesser of all of them.
Yeah. It was fine. That's how I like to say these movies. Like, there was good, and then there's fine. It was fine.
Yeah,
it was fine.
Yeah.
What I didn't like about the only thing I didn't like about the new one, The King's Man, is when that wormhole opened up and it had those spaceships. I was like, oh, get the fuck out of here.
Oh,
with the super spaceships.
spoilers! And then
Oh
the
my
fucking
God, and then
giant came out of the
Godzilla came out.
earth.
And they gave a gorilla an axe. Bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Taron
Bullshit.
Egerton flew into the sun.
All right, so Kingsman. All right, so number 4s were Zack Snyder's Justice League, Dune, and The Kingsman. All right, let's see here. We're getting down to the nitty gritty, guys.
Yeah.
Mike, number 3.
Number 3, The Suicide Squad.
That is also
There
my
it
number
is.
3.
We all have it on our lists.
Mhm.
Speaking of needle drops, this one did it right. James Gunn
Absolutely.
is the king of the needle drop. It used to be
Yep.
Martin Scorsese, then it was Quentin Tarantino, and now it's James Gunn. Because it was like this movie, for what it had to do.
What do you mean the needle drop? Are you talking about the actual sound effect of the needle? Like, I don't know what you mean.
Needle drop is a term when they use music in the score of the movie that is supposed to that it's a popular. It's not written for the movie. It's like the song plays and it adds environmental thing. And
Okay.
Are you talking
So what I
about
was talking about
didactic?
earlier? What I was talking about earlier with the other movie, there's actually has a name for that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's called
needle drop.
didactic when it's like a part of the actual scene. Like somebody puts on a song on a jukebox in like a bar or something, so that the music is actually in the environment,
right,
and not just a background music as a score. But yeah. It's called didacticism or some shit. That's
right.
Remembering back to film class in fucking college.
Right. Where the music is in the reality of the scene.
Yes.
Right.
And
it's environmental.
Right. where am I saying? Because I want to find the like actual definition, because I don't want to say the wrong thing. Maybe I'm saying the wrong thing.
Didactic definition. I think this is what it is.
All right. Well,
nope, I'm wrong.
Well, I'll vamp when you guys talk. When you guys look up. I enjoyed the fuck out of this movie. I laughed so fucking hard. And if this is a spoiler, I'm trying to not make any of these reviews spoilers, but I laughed so hard the very beginning when fucking Weasel went down like a ton of bricks.
Yeah,
I could not stop laughing. I was like, is he drowning? Can he? And then they were like, did anybody check if Weasel can swim? And I was like, that's fuck. I just
hilarious.
Cackled laughing so hard. It was so fucking good. And then from that moment on, I was like, it's so because a couple of years ago, James Gunn gets in trouble and gets fired by Marvel. And I tweeted this out. There's a fucking tweet of me saying, every DC fanboy is now saying, come on down, James Gunn. Right? Like, I tweeted this out, come on down, James Gunn. And then like a month or two later, they announced that he's been hired for the Suicide Squad. I'm like, I fucking called it. it. And then I'm watching this movie and I'm thinking to myself, it's so fucking perfect. Like that scene where the Weasel dies, I'm just like, this is the reason why we meaning fucking DC fans, this is the reason they hired James Gunn. Like this is like this is what we needed from James Gunn and the Suicide Squad. It's so good.
That whole opening scene is so insanely good in many ways, because it's a fantastic introduction to a movie. It's incredibly well done, and it also serves the function of getting everyone to forget that last fucking movie. We're going to be doing something else entirely different. And
you're talking about Academy Award winning Suicide Squad?
I mean, it is. Well, because they both did. So here's the thing. So to clarify, a needle drop is when music that wasn't recorded for a movie is added into a movie, be it diegetic, you were close.
Diegetic, that's the
diegetic, heard by the characters, or non-diegetic, not heard by the characters. So like when like
when Harley Quinn has her like fucking her fight moment with the javelin, like that's not diegetic, but it's fucking perfect.
But like when Uma Thurman's character in Pulp Fiction is dancing to that song in the that's diegetic. She can hear it. It's physically in the movie.
Yeah.
The original Suicide Squad, there's an genuine air cut of the movie where it's edited a certain way, when the trailer dropped, that everyone was like, "Oh shit, the trailer is amazing. This movie is going to be so good." Warner Brothers went back and had the movie trailer company that edited it edit the entire fucking movie. That's why the whole first 45 minutes of that movie is flashbacks and character introduction with songs that don't really have anything to do with the characters. It just says, like Super Freak for Harley Quinn. Yeah, but that's not the song is not about that. It's just the words Super Freak are there, and they were like, that's enough. In James Gunn's world, all of those songs mean something. And if you watched all of Peacemaker, everything is so fucking well constructed that you don't nothing as even if you don't like power metal, glam metal.
I don't.
But it
was so perfect. It was so good.
Yeah.
Like, you're literally about to describe me. Like even if you don't, I don't, and I still acknowledge it was fucking perfectly done.
You're like, that's what that needed. That's what that needed, and it's true. And that's the Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad had everything that it needed to erase or redeem itself from this, separate itself from the original thing, keep the parts that people liked and were good, and add an incredible element of story of, that James Gunn, found family and fathers and shit.
I think that James Gunn coming from the MCU had the pull to be able to say, like, stay the fuck out of my way, Warner Brothers. Get the fuck stay the fuck out of my way. And even though he was hired through controversial fucking situations, whatever, I think he still had enough pull where he was like, I'm James Gunn, bitch. Did you not see fucking Guardians of the Galaxy?
A talking raccoon and a living tree into the biggest movie in the world. Let me do my shit.
Let me do what the fuck I do. And I think they were like, James Gunn has said that he was super happy and impressed and grateful for all the freedom that Warner Brothers gave him. So apparently his situation was not the same as every other director that has dealt with Warner Brothers. Like, because Patty Jenkins was like, wait, what? What the fuck did you say?
Oh god, Wonder Woman 1984 was fucking garbage in my personal opinion.
There were so many things. I mean, again, as a huge fan of Warner Brothers movies, I still acknowledge all the other like Patty Jenkins has said that she had to fight multiple times, multiple days to keep the fucking No Man's Land scene in Wonder Woman in the movie. They didn't want to even film that scene, and she's like, no, you don't understand. You're like, you don't understand. This is the scene. And they're like, no, it's just gonna cost a lot of money. And like, no, this is the fucking scene. Like, you need to have this scene in the movie. You look back at that movie, and anybody who tells you like they had to fight to keep that, what? No, this is the whole fucking.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It was so good. Did you guys catch at the very end of the Suicide Squad the homage to the first Guardians, where you've got Idris Elba petting the rat at the very end?
Yes.
Oh,
that's Drax petting Rocket at the very end of Guardians. Like, he does things that mirror in his movies. He's got like certain little like signatures that he puts in. And I fucking love it. I love it. It was so good. And also, like, big ups to like stripping away the hypersexualization of Harley Quinn that they did in the first one. The first one also fucking produced by Steve Mnuchin, the Treasury Secretary for fucking Donald Trump. So like, there's a whole lot of things about that first movie that really pissed me the fuck off. And James Gunn came in and saved it, reskinned it. More than that, he gave it a soul. He gave it a heart and soul. Wow. And
I forgot about the Steve Mnuchin thing.
It's funny because I as much as I still thought the original Suicide Squad was fun. I did have problems with it. None of which are the ones you guys are describing. But I was like, I can see that. I can see that. Like, my problems with the original Suicide Squad, honestly, is the way they made Joker a thirsty bitch. Like, Joker would never, ever fucking run after Harley to get her back. Ever. And you know that because in the first scene where you introduce Joker, you see him leaving Harley to get arrested by Batman. That's what fucking the Joker would do. You know what he wouldn't do? Get a fucking prison break in a fucking in a helicopter convoy to go get her. I'm like, what? That's the part that bothered me. Like this other shit, like hypersexualization. Like, yeah, what? I don't give a like. It didn't like none of that bothered me. I'm not saying it was right or it was done well. I'm just saying like none of it outwardly bothered me.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, absolutely.
I'm a Birds of Prey apologist. Like that movie
Birds
was.
of Prey. I love Birds of Prey. That was so
movie
good.
was. It was fine. It was a good fucking time.
I enjoyed it. That was really good.
I enjoyed the last half hour of that movie.
Yes, that's true.
Okay.
And before that, I was just like, why are we harping so much on this fucking breakfast sandwich? Even as a fat guy, I'm like, take it easy. Like, do we need to show this many slow motion shots for a breakfast sandwich? I get that we're making fun of it, but Jesus, take it
yes,
easy.
Bro, you need to come to New York and get yourself a bacon, egg, and cheese, and you'll fucking understand.
Oh, really? Because New York is the only place that has bacon, egg, and cheese fucking sandwiches. Like,
the way that we do it up here, you fucking don't know, Nary.
Yeah, I'm from the land of Cuban bread, motherfucker. Like, I know about fucking Cuban breakfast sandwiches.
I know me a Cuban. It's so good. Now I'm hungry.
Now I am hungry. I want a breakfast sandwich so bad right now.
I'm fat. I live in the hungry. That's my superpower.
But yeah, the Suicide Squad was my number 3.
Okay.
My number 3. My number 3 was Suicide Squad.
Yeah. My number 3, and this is like it was so hard. This was like tied almost with my number 2. Is Don't Look Up.
So good. So good.
It's honorable mention, but I couldn't put it on my list.
Man, Adam McKay is just getting better and better and better with every single thing that he does. I don't know if you guys have watched Succession, but I really enjoy it. I know that
I have not, but I've heard so many good things. Is that him?
Yeah.
I didn't even know it was him.
I didn't know that was Adam McKay.
He's him and Will Ferrell are executive producers on it. So
they split up, right?
Yeah,
they did a long time ago, but they've come back together. They've had a reconciliation, and good for them because Succession. Like I know, like people are getting a little bit over like stories about super rich people, and I fucking get it. But Succession is just really, really well done. We're not talking about that. We're talking about Don't Look Up because it really does shine a mirror on just like society's behavior around a fucking global catastrophe. Like we're staring extinction in the eye, but there's those fucking asshole billionaires that are like, but how do we make money off of it? They're like, we could blow up this fucking asteroid that's going to destroy Earth. Wait, don't look at it. Don't look at it. Look at us. Look at us, the politicians. There's nothing up there. There's no global pandemic. There's like vaccines don't work. No, there's no asteroid coming. And then the fucking billionaires are like, but wait a minute. We've learned that it's got all of these raw components that are worth $1 trillion. So we're not going to blow it up. And like
Mark Rylance played too close to the guy to Halliday from Ready Player One for me in that character. Like it was a little too close. So I was watching.
I see what you're saying,
but not that it doesn't take away from it doesn't take away from in general the movie. But there was like the performance. That's what I was gonna say. His was the weakest for me, but everyone is performing the fuck out of this movie. The acting in this movie was fantastic. Once it got to the point of the Don't Look Up part, I was like, okay, this might be not like, I'm like, okay, well, I was on board with all of this, and now it just got too cartoonishly obvious and heavy-handed. You know, like it was really like ham-fisting the idea.
I'm fine with that. Which like,
I get is the point.
It is satire, you know, but it's like it's satire on the idiocy of society and not satire on like a produced piece of content, which is like what most satire is. You know, we're not making fun of actual politicians telling us to not get vaccinated. And that's what this is doing. You know, they're having a fucking rally outside, a Trump style rally. Meryl Streep's the president, and you know Jonah Hill's her dumb fucking son, like Eric Trump.
Jonah Hill was so good, man.
I hated him in that movie, but that was for the right reason.
When he talked about that he would fuck his mom, I'm like, oh, this is so perfect. It was so fucking perfect. It was so good, man.
So good.
Yeah, that's Trump saying he would fuck his daughter. You know?
Yes, so good. Yeah, like, isn't she hot? She's hot for it. Like if she wasn't my mom, I'd fuck. Like
yeah, dude.
Like he just says it. Yeah,
that's like.
Yeah, I watched the whole thing and I enjoyed it, but yeah, there was a lot of it where I was like,
Yeah, Jennifer Lawrence finally coming back in because I feel like she really sort of like fell off the performance wagon for me. Like she had Silver Linings Playbook, fucking crushed it, and she was great. And then she just had like sort of a line of stinkers after that, which I hate to say that. I love Jennifer Lawrence, but like. What was it called? Passengers and like Red Sparrow, and there were just like
you didn't like Red Sparrow?
I didn't think it was good.
I
I
didn't
didn't
see
think
it.
it was good. I'm sorry, Mary,
I
but it
love
was
that
not.
movie. I thought you were
Didn't
gonna
do it
say
for me.
X-Men. I thought you were gonna say the last X-Men. I'm like, no, that
The
makes sense.
X-Men,
That
yeah,
makes sense.
like
Oh, yeah,
her
shit.
mystique after like First Class. I mean, Days of Future Past is one of the best X-Men movies in my personal
Yes.
opinion. But
Yes,
like,
but
those
Apocalypse or
Apocalypse and Phoenix are fucking just garbage.
I saw Phoenix the other day again because I was on a cruise ship and I couldn't see anything else, and I was like, Jesus, this is brutal.
So bad.
It's
Yeah,
so
but
fucking-
she great comeback for J-Law. Leo fucking crushed it. I loved it. I loved it.
Sexy
this Leo
scientist?
guy, he's gonna be good, man. He's gonna keep your eye on this
Going
guy.
places. Keep your eye
Going
on
places.
this dude.
Keep your eye on that guy. It's
All
so
right,
funny.
so
Yeah. No,
go ahead. I'm sorry. You're
Nah,
saying.
I wasn't gonna add anything good.
And Mike's like, thank God you saved me because I had nothing coming out the chamber.
I was just feeling silence. You can go.
Yeah.
All right. So for number 3s, we had the Suicide Squad, Don't Look Up, and the Suicide Squad. All right. Number 2, Mike. What's your number 2, man?
My number 2 is Nightmare Alley.
Me too.
Yeah, Nightmare
Never heard of it.
Alley. Okay, it's
Nightmare
Guillermo
Alley.
del Toro
Mhm.
telling a kind of 1940s.
It's a remake, actually.
Oh, I didn't know that. It was.
Yeah, it's a remake.
So
But
it's got this
yeah.
amazing cast, all star cast:
Mhm.
Bradley Cooper, Toni
Mhm.
Collette,
Kate Blanchett,
Kate Blanchett,
Willem Dafoe,
yes, and
It's
it's all
actually
about
pronounced Kate Blanchett.
Kate Blanchett.
Kate Blanchett.
Timothée Blanchett. But yeah, it's basically like about mentalism and like the guys who trick people into, you know, like all of the carny people who like have these communities of like kind of grifting money from people. Like you make a living on your wits, and then Bradley Cooper takes it and becomes this kind of elevated performer of mysticism and reading people's minds and all this stuff. With
Is he one of those? Is he one of those that where he tells women like, "Send me money because my enemies are after me. I'll pay you right back."
Can you take out a loan for $25,000 and someone just says, "Yeah, I love you and my boyfriend"?
It's
blah, blah,
interesting
blah, blah.
because kind of because
yeah.
like because he does end up like conning played by the amazing Richard Jenkins, who has always been like that guy actor and finally got his like due because of The Shape of Water, and got like a lot of recognition and nominations because of that. So Richard Jenkins plays this like industrialist, multi-millionaire, maybe billionaire, but he's like the kind of guy you do not fuck with. And like Holt McCallany playing his like bodyguard is just really
that's that guy's name. Yeah, he's great.
Holt McCallany, who another is like a kind of like that guy actor. He's in a lot of like David Fincher shit. But he's great, and like so he goes in with the mentalism thing and he's been warned by like Toni Collette and her husband in the circus, like, do not read people. You're going to give them hope. You're going to say that you can speak to the dead, and it's going to turn out.
What was it? A ghost story?
Something like that. Yeah,
like,
and
like you don't tell ghost stories or whatever, because then they start believing you. And you start, and then the guy who Bradley Cooper learned it from told him, it's like, because then you start to believe it yourself that you have more power than you do. And it's actually, it's a very like very realistic human horror story in that there's no magic in it. There's nothing supernatural. There's no anything other than humans being fucking evil and manipulative. But it is a straight up kind of horror story about the rise and fall of this one guy, and it's told. This movie is like a filmmaker bullshit. This is where you're gonna have to. This is where we're gonna have to be toned down the why we feel it's good, because the tone of the movie, the filmmaking side of this movie, the whole putting it all together, the Art Deco design of when they move into the city, the carnival feel, the sideshow freaks and geeks, the whole element of it is just so well done that the tone of the movie, by the end of it, you just feel bad but feel good, like you watched something.
It's beautiful. Like Guillermo del Toro is textbook auteur. That's what I say about him. Auteur. His filmmaking style is always and has always been so meticulously put together and well done and clean and beautiful, even when you're in like a dirty like hobo camp, or it's still like everything is perfect.
This is the neatest hobo camp I've ever been. I gotta be honest with you. I've been through a lot of hobo camps, and never have I seen the organization that this hobo camp has. It's really well done.
The way they
Every
show
piece of dirt is just placed rightfully so. It's just done.
Hey, you want to know what? It is, Neri. It is. If it
and
was
Rooney Mara fucking crushed me, dude. She was so beautifully performs this role as like the wife that just gets used by him.
Spook show. It was
spook
a
show. That's what it was. Spook show.
Yeah. But the rise and fall of this, it happens in a way that you're like, yeah, I'm rooting for this guy, and then as he's buying into his own bullshit, you see it happening, and then the whole time you're watching, you're like, no, come on, what are you doing? You're not gonna stop watching it. You're like rooting for this guy, like, no, don't do the thing that I know you're ultimately gonna do, and completely decline. And then at the end, when they reveal that he's like, well, I do have this one job, and there it's a flashback to the stuff that happened at the beginning. It blew me away. I was just like, I saw it coming, and I was still blown away. I was like, amazing. It's one of my favorite movies of last year. It was
fully
really,
agreed, and
really,
it got like no awards love, and I don't know why. I have no fucking clue. Also, Bradley Cooper doesn't speak for like. Yeah, Bradley Cooper doesn't fucking speak for like the first half hour of that movie too.
Yeah, that's the problem.
He's all tone, baby. It's all tone. It's all cinematic scene painting. It's beautiful. Great. That was my number 2.
Me too.
Nightmare Alley.
That was your number 2 as well?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Double up, baby.
That. Yeah.
Double tap.
You say nightmare. I say alley.
Alley. I was waiting for you to say Nightmare. All right, so Nightmare Alley. My number 2. I'm pretty sure it's gonna get tabled. It was amazing. It made me feel things. It's Ghostbusters Afterlife.
I didn't see it, and I feel like such a fucking asshole because I need to see it.
What the fuck? Oh my god! Very shocking. I'm like flabbergasted at the fact.
I think it's because it didn't come out on streaming, and it was like right in the middle of quarantine.
Well,
it's not out on streaming yet. I did not go to the theater to watch. It is? Do you have it?
It's an Apple. No, I don't own it. I'm waiting for the Blu-ray to come out because my kids will want to watch it in the car. So I'm not gonna spend money on digital, even though it is available on digital. I'm not gonna spend money on digital to then go buy it on Blu-ray because the Blu-ray comes with digital. So I gotta wait like 2 or 3 more weeks. Anyways, it is absolutely available on Apple TV to purchase, or at least to rent. But I love to purchase. The movie is fucking phenomenal. I saw it twice within a 24 hours time span. I probably saw it twice within 14 hours. I saw it at night and then with the kids. And then the next day, I convinced my wife to play hooky, and I can say that because her company no longer exists. And I got my wife to play hooky, and be like, we got to go watch Ghostbusters. And I told her, I'm going to go at this time regardless. It was like noon. I'm like, I'm going to go at this time regardless, whether you're there or not. If you want to be there, I'm telling you, it's that fucking good. And we went to go see it together, and it was fucking spectacular. It was just, everything was perfect. I love that movie.
I've heard,
I'm an
Will
apologist.
Told me it was amazing. Will told me that.
Yeah. Me and Will Watkins talked about it. We were like, oh my god. We're like, I couldn't. The only Marvel movie that it got tears out of me as far as this movie, and the only Marvel movie, because it's technically a superhero movie, right? Ghostbusters. But the only Marvel movie to ever get any tears out of me has been Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and there's one specific scene where Drax talks about his daughter and how she's now dead. That one scene got me because I have a daughter and blah blah blah. There's all that bullshit. So like, it's very specific.
Hell, that garbage. That's
but
about loving my child.
It's very specific. It's a very specifically targeted. Like, fucking, I'm gonna make fathers with daughters cry. Like, I'm just gonna aim this tear gun. And
twist this tear gun.
Yeah.
when Mantis
James Gunn and the
touches,
tear gun.
yeah, when Mantis touches him, and she realizes just how
Heartbroken he is.
Heartbroken he is. Yeah. I remember that scene. Yeah.
So it was that scene is the only one that's made me shed a tear in a superhero movie. And I cried for a lot of movies. I cried at Jim Carrey's The Mask. I cried at a lot of fucking movies, bro. And
what part of The Mask made you cry?
Part of The Mask
Tell
made
us.
Listen, man. And I'm trying to smile now because to stop myself from feeling the fucking shit that I know I'm about to feel, right? So I'm trying like, hey, this is
was it when he screamed Milo no?
Yes. When Milo was trying to fucking save him from when Milo was trying to jump up into the jail cell when he was in, and he goes, go and find another master, one that could take care of you because I'm a loser. Like that was the spiel or whatever.
We've lost. Oh my god. Hey, speaking of The Mask, I did start a Twitter account called "Is Eric Andre the Mask?" and it just says day. I'm just counting the days and saying whether or not he has been cast as the Mask. Because if they ever do a remake or reboot or make the Mask again, Eric fucking Andre should 100% play the Mask. That's my.
I'm not opposed to it. But yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Like this movie it feels like a love letter from Jason Reitman to his dad, Ivan Reitman.
Correct. Right. And it was.
That's all I know about it.
But I was like, oh no, it just, woo! It made
put
you
it on the
feel
list,
feels,
man. I gotta watch
made
this.
You feel
thing.
the feels. I legitimately since the moment I watched it was in this mindset of like, is it gonna be my number 2 or my number 1? Immediately there was no question of. There was no question of is it going to make the list. It was, is it going to be my number 2 or my number 1? And that's the only, and the only way I did the choosing was, well, my number 1's came out first, so I'm going to give it. That's it. That's the only reason. It's because it's been my number 1 longer than this. Like that's
right.
It's so fucking good on all levels, man.
I'm gonna watch it. That's definitely. I'm gonna put it on the list. I'm making a list of stuff to watch.
I'm watching Nightmare Alley. I gotta watch that. You guys got me intrigued. Even though
it really is.
You kind of spoiled it already, but it's fine. I'll try it. I'll watch it.
It's a novel. Did you not read the book?
I have a feeling that we all might have the same number 1.
Yeah. No.
So none of us have said it. Can we all say it? Oh, do a countdown, 3, 2, 1 countdown.
I know because my number 1.
We gotta do honorable mentions first. Oh, okay, okay.
We don't all have the same number 1.
So number 2s, just to recap, number 2s are Nightmare Alley was said twice, and I said Ghostbusters Afterlife. All right. So what are honorable mentions?
I will say, not to like name all of them, but Mortal Kombat would have, if they did not pitch it as a movie and it would have been a series pilot, it would have been better.
Mortal Kombat, if it didn't have the main character that they fucking invented for this movie, would have been amazing. They gave us an extra character that we A, didn't need, and B, didn't like. This character fucking sucked. But everything else about the movie was great. Everything else about the movie was great.
I'm gonna say Red Notice. Did anybody see Red Notice with The Rock?
Red Notice. That was fun.
And Gal Gadot. It was fun up until the very end, which I did not like the very end. But it was like I was watching it like, this is a great dumb action movie. And I would like to say Black Widow.
Black Widow. Black Widow and the Eternals to me is the best Marvel movies that came out last year.
Really, Black Widow for me was hard to like. It was great. It was fine, but because of all of the bullshit around it that you can't separate. Like, I wish I could have gone into that movie not having known that we waited how many, because of the pandemic, because of Ike Perlmutter didn't let her get a movie back in phase 2. Like all of the stuff that I know about the MCU made like filtered into this idea of like what it
I wish I
could
could be
have been.
I wish I could be as smart as you guys. I'm like, let's go see this movie. Like I had zero.
Maybe you should read more, Neri.
Like I went into this
read these
movie.
books.
I went into this movie and there's like, if you could read my mind, it's like, the fucking the person you have called is not around, and I'm just like, this is fun. Like there's nowhere that I think like, oh man, remember phase 2? Like I didn't think of any of that shit. I was like, yeah, this is fucking.
Yeah.
Well, I think and the fact that I waited so long during the pandemic when they kept pushing it back, I literally said these words. I said, I don't give a fuck about this movie anymore. It's been too long. And then I watched the movie and all of that went out the window because I'm like, this is just fucking great. This is just great. It made me forget about all of that. It like made me forget that I once said I don't give a fuck about this movie. Like that. I think that's a compliment to the movie where
Right.
it just made me forget that I felt that way at one point.
I will say the fact that so right before the pandemic shut down everything in March, there was Comic-Con, right? San Diego
Right.
Comic-Con, and that was the big Marvel, like Marvel just shit, look at all of our Marvel shit. And it was a huge fucking deal. That's where they announced the Eternals and they brought out Salma Hayek.
No, they announced it at the Disney Marvel doesn't really do the Comic-Con anymore. They do the Disney Con, whatever the fuck it's called. Disney.
It was
like
San Diego
Day or
Comic-Con. No, but it was the one where they announced Blade at the end, where they did the
right.
whole fucking lineup. They
Right.
did all of that shit. They brought everybody out. They brought Salma Hayek out. They brought Angela. They brought out Shang-Chi. They brought out all these other things. They announced all these projects. And then the big thing for that one was that everybody got a Black Widow hat, and Black Widow showed up. And they announced the TV series. They announced a whole bunch of shit. And then pandemic. And then it was like, psych. You know, so that wave of energy, which I'm kind of glad a little bit, because Black Widow was not, in my opinion, as good as some of the other stuff we saw before. Like, it came out, you know, in a way that at a certain point you're just like, Jesus, just drop it on fucking streaming already. And then you learned about the lawsuit that, oh, they can't. They have to figure out a way to release it in theaters. Otherwise, it violates the contract with Scarlett Johansson. Blah, 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 blah. And then at a certain point, you just watch the movie and you're like, just get it into my brain so that I know what's going on. And Florence Pugh's Yelena was one of my favorite characters.
I love her. So
amazing.
Yeah. She was amazing.
But yeah, it was just like one of those things where I was like, it's good. It's great. It was great. But also had all this shit tied to it. And then I will say also Matrix Resurrections.
So
it came out.
about that
honorable mention.
movie.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just like, okay. But
I think I need to watch it from the more like meta satire, like fucking point of view, because I can't take it. I can't take it seriously as a fucking Matrix movie because basically Lana Wachowski made it because they were going to make it with or without her.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, if you're going to make it without me, I might as well be a part of it. And that's where you get like the meta shit where you've got like John Goff talking about like our sister or parent company, Warner Brothers, blah, 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 blah. And you got the fucking like
I thought I was watching an outtake of fucking Free Guy. I was like, is this fucking Free Guy again?
Yeah,
like,
it was so close to Free Guy.
It made me like groan when those words came out of his mouth, and I was like, ugh, really? You're being self-referential in this shit? And I really switched off at that point. But then when I went back and sort of like got the backstory about the movie being made anyways, I was like, okay, I get it. This is basically her giving the studio the fucking finger. And that makes
her
me
Spider-Man 3.
respect it, you know, in that way. So, yeah.
Yeah.
What are your honorable mentions, Stein?
I got, let me get my notes back up here. I got a few here. We already mentioned Black Widow and Luca. A few like Raya the Last Dragon. I really loved it. Raya the Last Dragon and Shang-Chi feel very similar in a lot of ways with like the dragons. They both got Aquafina. And, they're both like you know, Asian supernatural stories with like cool martial arts and shit. Let's see. The Green Knight I thought was really fucking cool.
Fuck, I want to
Still haven't seen it. Still haven't seen it.
It was, I mean, like I'm an A24 stan. I really love like what they're putting out there. Let's see, No Time to Die, the like Daniel Craig's last Bond. Rami Malek was an amazing Bond villain. And the last one that I don't know. Have you guys seen Boss Level with Frank Grillo?
It's on my honorable mention.
On my list to watch.
It was my number 10 until it got knocked out by Kingsman. And I was like, well,
good.
It was really so good. It was so good. Yeah.
I don't like Mel Gibson because he's an anti-Semite. I wish they would have cast someone else in that role.
Why I like it. No, I'm kidding. But
it's funny you say that.
But it's funny you say that. That's the reason I actually started watching it. No.
Also Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's
again,
in it. I
She's
gotta
in it
watch
also.
it. I heard
She's
it's
fucking
great.
everywhere. It's really
Boss Level
fucking
is so
good.
good. I didn't know Gibson. I'm one of those people, and Mike will tell you, not just about Gibson, but I'm very capable of separating the art from the artist. I'm one of those like, this is the art, this is the artist. I'm one of those. I know it's, and I
Mel
respect.
Gibson. Piece of
I
shit.
respect. I respect people who are like, I can't do that. Like, okay, I understand. I got you. But I'm a fan of Mel Gibson's art. And I did not know he was in this movie when I started watching the movie. And then when he showed up, I'm like, get the fuck, this guy's in it. And he plays a villain. Which, why wouldn't he? I mean,
there is a moment in Boss Level where he kills one of the assassins that's coming after him, and she has Adolf Hitler's gun. She's like, I paid like $2 million for this. And he fucking takes it and shoots her, and he goes, that was for the Jews. And he fucking like,
is that real?
That's in the movie. Yeah, he strips her of the gun.
Wait, I was listening to that as a joke. Say that again. As real. Yeah. This is real.
Yes,
that's for the Jews. Blam.
Yeah. So it's
well,
it's
he
got
shoots
the
her first.
whole,
he does shoot her
the whole
first.
Groundhog Day thing where like he dies and he wakes up at the same like part.
Movie,
so every day he has to learn how to like get past a certain point in the day. So he learns how to become like a master swordsman. You know, he learns the routines of these assassins coming after
like
him.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the whole thing. Groundhog Day created its own genre with like coming back to life and reliving the day sort of thing.
The loop day.
Yeah, and when he kills this one assassin, she's got a fucking gun that's Adolf Hitler's gun. And yeah, he shoots her with it and says that's for the Jews. And fucking Mel Gibson is in the movie, notorious anti-Semite.
Yeah. Wait, but you make it Mike.
Wow.
Mike, it's not Mel Gibson. It's Mel Gibson's not the one who kills her. It's
Frank Grillo is the one.
The way you're setting it up is
my bad. No,
Mel
Gibson's he's like the final boss in the thing, but like
Mel Gibson's like
die,
that's for the Jews. I'd be like,
no. Frank Grillo. I'm sorry, I should have explained it better. I thought it was clear. Frank Grillo.
Because the way you said it, I was like, wait, I saw the movie and I don't remember.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Frank Grillo.
Yeah.
Or Grillo. I don't know how you say his last name. He's the one that
Mel
says
Gibson
that,
was supposed to say that line, but he refused. No, I'm kidding. I refused.
Wow.
Yeah, he refused. Mm-hmm.
He refused. He was like, it's not in my contract. I'm not saying that line. And then Frank Grillo was like, I'll fucking do it. I'm kidding. That movie is really good. All right, my honorable mentions real quick because we're running out of time here. Jungle Cruise, Boss Level,
saw it.
Shang-Chi, Quiet Place 2, and Justice Society World War II. Animated DC movie. Fucking amazing. It took 4 amazing movies, including Ghostbusters, Suicide Squad, and Kingsman, to knock this movie off my fucking list. It took a lot. Also, shout out to Croods 2, A New Age, which is I'm a huge fan of the Croods movies and the TV show, but it's an animated movie. It was fucking fantastic. Those are my honorable mentions. Number ones, Mike.
Number one, I no dilly dallying. Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Numero uno. The sheer work that went into making this movie, it's incredible to me that it exists as a functional piece of art and also as like the linchpin in connecting decades of movies into one universe. And it makes sense. The movie is a good movie and it's not this convoluted piece of shit. It's not like the Eternals where it had this incredibly heavy lifting thing to do. It was very specific and you had to hit specific things. And it was crazy emotional. I genuinely teared up in that fucking movie. It was such a good I cried. So I will say this for Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. Of the three Spider-Men, Andrew Garfield I felt the most for. Because they really fucked him over. Sony really kind of fucked him over. And he suffered this kind of like backlash where he didn't get the chance to tell the story he wanted to tell and blah, 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 blah. Now there's rumor that he might continue being Spider-Man. Who knows? But in this movie alone, him catching Zendaya and his MJ, like my MJ is,
redemption.
I lost my MJ. That redemption scene, the part where you think it's going to be Tom Holland, and then he goes goof and he gets caught, and then Andrew Garfield is the one, rather than shoot and shoot up to stop himself, he shoots down further, catches her physically, and then saves himself.
Yeah.
And then he's just kind of like, that look on his face had so many
real.
layers.
So real. In that moment, you really can.
That was the best part of that movie.
Apparent the deep well of empathy, just as like a human being, Andrew Garfield is equipped with, and it's so just laid bare in that one moment there. You get to see everything, and it's such a vulnerable and special thing that, like you said, he got fucked over, and he finally got a chance to redeem not just like his character, but himself in that moment, because he did get a lot of hate for no good fucking reason from the Amazing Spider-Man movies.
I don't understand people who like lash out at the actor who reads the script that was chosen by the director, who was chosen by the studio and told what to do. You know what I mean? Like, that's the last guy you should be mad at. You know what I mean? Like, and it was just so funny to me. And then Toby coming back and just being like the venerable older Spider-Man, you know, like, it was, but that's not what the movie was entirely about. Because Tom Holland's character, when he's like trying to piece out the world together again, is like genuinely and fucking Willem Dafoe. God damn, that guy's good.
Yeah,
Chris, motherfucking Kringle. That guy is so amazing to be playing a character he played 20 years later and still be like, fuck yes, you know, like oh, so good.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Absolutely agree. The fucking the logistics of this movie existing is mind-boggling, and you're right. There will never be anything that can stand up to what they have done. They've created something absolutely unique, and I just am waiting for the day that I can like own this, you know, and have it to watch over and over and over and over again. It's so good.
Let's see you get a crowd reaction from a character walking through a circle that I sat in my theater. People uproarious cheering, applause.
They did that in Endgame.
They did that in Endgame.
They literally got emotional. They literally got an emotion out of fucking people walking out of a circle. What are you talking about?
My fucking point, because I was referencing Martin Scorsese and all of these other high-minded, lofty fucking people. Ridley Scott. You try getting that reaction from one of your fucking last duel jerk off is screen pieces.
Have you seen The Last Duel? The Last Duel is really good. I don't know why you fucking going at The Last Duel. Like,
because
it's really
because of the fact that it had to go up against No Way Home, and then Ridley Scott was like, this fucking comic book movie, and I'm like, people cared about that. It made a fucking
but it's not
$1 billion.
the movie's fault. But it's not the movie's.
Don't talk shit about the movie, then.
Talk shit about the director. Don't talk shit. Like, I don't understand why you're like. It is 3 times in this podcast that you're like, The Last Duel, fucking ugly, jerking yourself off. I'm like, it's a really good film though.
It was Ridley Scott is the Martin Scorsese talked shit because nobody wanted to see the fucking Irishman.
They're whining like little bitches because the fucking superhero movie is better than their like cinema.
In all fairness, Scorsese talked shit prior to the Irishman coming out. He did talk.
This
shit
is not to say
I'm just saying that he didn't do it because nobody saw it. He did, and it got nominated for like 1,000 Oscars. The Irishman,
right? So but the Oscars is now more obviously detached from like what the average person like. It's like you never see a movie on Rotten Tomatoes that the critic score is super good, super bad, but the audience score is like, yeah, no, it's fucking great.
It's every movie on fucking Kickflix.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
I would like to personally apologize to Ridley Scott and Martin Scorsese. If you ever want to hire me, I take it all back.
Yeah, I'm just like defending the movie. I'm like, the movie didn't say that though. Like, why are you talking shit about the fucking movie? The movie didn't say it. Talk shit about the guy.
Fuck you, the Last Duel LLC company that ran and produced the movie. But my thing is that Ridley Scott's everybody who is high-minded like doesn't treat these as cinema, but like Scorsese was making mob movies. Mob movies were the comic book movies of their time.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Mob movies in the
It's all
70s.
cyclical too. It's all cyclical. It's you know what I mean. Fucking it becomes a thing to make vampire movies, and then 10 years, and then that goes out, and then 10 years later they'll make more vampire movies. It's all the same fucking thing. But I get what you're saying. I found it weird that you're attacking the movie. I'm like, it's not the movie's fault. Like, it's not the movie. That's like
It's Ridley Scott being
Ridley
up his
Scott.
own ass.
I'm a fan of Ridley Scott. I'm a fan of his films. My favorite movie of all time is Braveheart. My second one is Gladiator. And
Go watch Robin Hood.
Robin Hood's
Braveheart's
really good too.
not a Ridley Scott movie.
Yeah,
No, I
there's a
know.
Robin Hood that Ridley Scott made.
I said my second favorite movie is Gladiator. So those are the I
I
say
got
that
you.
only to say
Gotcha.
that my number 1 and 2 are favorite movies. Those are the only ones that are numbered. Everything else is like, oh, that one's
Gotcha.
good too. That one's like those are
Gladiator's
the
so
staples.
fucking good.
That's so good. All right. I don't like Spider-Man No Way Home. It was fine. It was okay. It was not great to me. I did not cry at that movie. I'm just going by what you guys are saying. We've done a spoiler review on this movie. I don't hate the movie. I don't think anything except for Defoe's overacting. I don't think anything is bad in this movie. I just didn't feel the same thing everybody else felt. Other than that, that's fine. That's fine.
Ever the contrarian.
No, I said this the day after.
Gary wants to fight, man. He came
The
for
day
blood.
after.
He's
The day
entitled
after
to
it came
his
out.
opinion, however wrong it is.
Absolutely. I'm
Fine.
just kidding,
It's
brother.
fine with that.
What you got?
I
know what you
didn't
got.
feel a goddamn thing when Aunt May died, except for we won't be seeing her fine ass anymore. My number one,
I don't understand it.
Yeah, I don't understand it either. Like, why don't you cry when Uncle Ben died? I'm like, I don't know, because I expected it. I saw it coming. It's fine. It doesn't make a difference. Oh, look, the cat. There's the fucking cat with the hair on the mic. Sorry.
There it
Please
So
show
excited
shit.
about a fucking cat.
I know. I was like, oh, look.
What
cat.
was your number one? What was your number
My number
one?
one was the previously mentioned twice before Zack Snyder's Justice League. That was my number one. My number one and two,
so
I
good.
will say, are interchangeable. Ghostbusters Afterlife was that good that in my mind, I was like, I don't know if it's going to be my number one or two. But my number one is Zack Snyder's Justice League. It's a complete masterpiece especially considering the bullshit that we ended up getting in the movie theater. Which, by the way, when Joss Whedon's Justice League came out, I was like, it's not bad, it's fine. Like, I was that guy. I was like, it's fine, whatever. And then I saw this, I'm like, oh no, that was shit. Okay, my fault. I'm sorry, that was complete garbage. I didn't know that was
compared to this. That was trash. Yeah,
good.
And then you hear all the stories about Joss Whedon, like on set, and he's like disappeared up his own asshole, being a piece of shit and racist and all.
Well, that part I never took into consideration because the movie came out beforehand, so that part didn't play a, you know what I mean. But I will say, you done fucked up, man. I mean,
Ray Fisher got so fucked over by Joss Whedon. It's just like
he was my favorite character in this one. Him and
so,
Flash,
like,
the two people they cut the most.
Heart and
what
soul
he said
of the Zack
Zack Snyder, years for a year prior to this version coming out, he said multiple times on social media that in the Justice League, Cyborg was always supposed to be the heart and soul of this movie. And I just couldn't understand how that's a thing, because I saw the fucking theatrical version and I was like, how is this guy the heart and soul of this fucking movie? Maybe Barry, but how the fuck do you get this guy? And then I saw the Zack Snyder's, and I'm like, oh, I get it. It makes sense.
I mean, it's true.
It was fucking great.
Once they showed, also, like, it explained certain things in the Justice League one that always kind of stood out to me as like sloppy. Including the CGI for
CGI, the fucking red CGI, that was so bad.
It was like
he's
PlayStation
such a
2
nuanced
level graphics.
Yeah, he's such a nuanced character in the Zack Snyder Justice League. Like, he makes perfect sense, and he's so fucking badass looking. His armor that like shifts and everything, like fucking amazing. The way they did him so dirty, and they like that whole subplot of like Barry Allen saving the like family at the end of the Justice League. It's like so fucking stupid. And now they gave him his redemption moment where he gets to turn back time and save everything by manipulating the Speed Force. And like Zack Snyder's slow motion shit is his calling card in all of his movies. Like,
that's what one knock I will say again, even though I'm what people will call a DC fanboy, I still try to be as honest as I can with myself. One knock I will say is like there's so many slow motion scenes and it's not just with the Flash, and I'm like, so is everybody as fast as the Flash? Like, what's going on? Like, it's just like I think he overused that. And you're right, it's his calling card because he does it so well. But in a movie that has a speedster, you might want to make that guy the slow motion guy, like not because he used it with Wonder Woman, he used it with
Well, Wonder Woman and Superman both have super speed,
right? But again, but there was no.
There's no delineation between how much faster Barry is.
Because Barry is literally changed the speed force, changed the fucking ripples of time fast.
Yeah.
And no matter Superman's not that fast, and neither is Wonder Woman.
He's close.
And so,
He's
that's
done
one
it.
of my favorite. That's one of my favorite panels, like pages in comics of all time, is where it's the Flash and Superman are going somewhere, and then they're like, he's like, oh, you're not that fast. We've raced many times. I've even won some of those races. And then the Flash literally looks over at Superman, is like, Clark, those were for charity. Poof, and he just literally leaves him so far, like embarrassingly. Superman is nowhere near as fast as the Flash, and when
he taps into his full potential. Absolutely,
exactly. Yeah. So when he
I will say
differentiating in the slow-mo would have been
so good. Two things that's what I said. My comment is like twofold. Like one, I would like more of a distinguishing difference between Barry and everybody else. No, you could do more like what he did with the rub when the building was collapsing on those people and he fucking zoomed out, whatever. That was dope as fuck. I was like, oh shit, yeah. But the slow motion, I'm like, you gotta differentiate a little bit more, in my opinion. And then the other thing, again, Joss Whedon's movie was awful, it was garbage, it's trash. That scene was pretty dope though. The Superman racing the Flash, that fucking mid-credit thing, that was pretty fucking cool. I was like, again, not worth the other shit that we got. I mean, if it was pick one or the other, I wouldn't. And just
fucking hair lip Superman on the smartphone at the top.
so bad.
So bad. But I love the way Zack Snyder throughout the years before the movie came out, he kept like taking little jabs on social media. Somebody said, oh, just CGI, something, blah, blah. And then he chimed in and he goes, we all know that doesn't work.
Yeah. My thing also was like with I loved that the Mission Impossible people went to Warner Brothers and were like, fuck you, that mustache is vital to his character in Mission Impossible Fallout. You can't have him shave or we will sue you for violating for something.
Right.
And Henry Cavill, I feel bad for for him as I do for Andrew Garfield, because Henry Cavill, one of the reasons he didn't appear in like Shazam or any of that stuff is that because he still has one movie contracted left with Warner Brothers, and if he appears in literally any other DC property, that will end his contract, so that because he wants another Superman movie.
Yeah.
And they could make a Man of Steel 2 and have it be amazing after Flashpoint.
Okay.
I don't know, but that's the thing, is that he's kind of in this like limbo of being Superman. And I think he's fucking great and deserves a chance to be full-fledged superhero Superman with like a genuine Superman story.
You know who would be a great director for him? Fucking Patty Jenkins. I think I would love to see what she can do.
Interesting.
I would be down for that.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's not bad actually. I think that would be pretty good. But the truth is that he's kind of a whole generation Superman now, and it would be hard to replace him without a good reason, especially now that multiverses exist and like there's 3 Batmans, like that's
2 good ones. Thing. So we'll figure it out.
I heard this new Batman's good. We'll see.
I know. I just like saying those are the contrary type of comments. I'm just like, I don't know. I haven't even seen the new one yet. I'm gonna go see it tomorrow. But it's like it's just like fucking just like oh, nice pussy. What a nice
This is Daniel Day-Lewis.
We got white pussy. We got black pussy. We got apple pie pussy. I hope people know that's a reference to a movie. We can't end on me saying that.
Top 10. Thank you guys for checking out our top 10 list. Make sure you check out Mike on his social media at Mike Mercadal. Stein, you're at Dungeon on Floor, which is
just Dungeon Floor.
God damn it, it's the on. No
At
capitalization.
Dungeon Floor.
That was my fault again.
It's all good, bro. You don't read.
At Dungeon Floor. At Dungeon Floor. No, Dungeon Floor. At Dungeon Floor. And his podcast is a. Well, you
Here, I can explain it. Yeah. So I'm the Pungeon Master, the host of The Floor is Dungeon, 5th edition actual play comedy podcast. Mike has been a guest on it a couple times where we build characters based off of history, comedy, pop culture, politics, whatever. We mash them all up, and then I create a double dare dad joke dungeon to run my characters through. 2 episodes a month. Check us out. We're on all of the fucking podcatchers. The Floor is a Dungeon. Follow us at Dungeon Floor.
Thank you. Check that out, guys. And my comedy is at Nary Signs or whatwashisname.com. I'm dropping a lot more videos and reels. I just dropped one today of me finding out the news that a Louisiana teacher got arrested because she laced cupcakes with she gave students semen laced cupcakes, and I give my 2 cents about it. So anyways, check that out at Nary Signs, at everything is whatwashisname.com. You guys are great, and that's how top 10 are done. 9th in a row, baby.